Hey everybody, welcome to the final episode of Power Hour before the 2024 Olympia Weekend coming up. Before we get started, of course, please, it's live. Subscribe, like, share, ring that bell, do all that good stuff. Helps the channel out. And now, all the way from the Tiger Towers, the most tigerific of co-hosts you could ever find from the United Kingdom, please welcome Giles, Tiger, Thomas.
2024 Olympia, baby.
This is the first one I've missed in, I don't know, like 15 years. I'm a little bummed a little bit, but this will be the last one we miss. I promise Giles and I will be at the Olympia next year.
What was the first Olympia you ever went to?
Oh, 91. Orlando.
91. Oh my God. Do you know what? That is one of the Olympias I wished if I could go back in time, I think 91 Olympia, because that was the second Olympia I ever followed as a fan. And I mean, the first Olympia I ever followed was 1990. That was a drug tested one in Chicago. Do you remember? And let's be honest, I mean, almost everybody but Mike Christie and Sean Ray looked pretty crap, to be honest. I mean, it wasn't great. And then 1991, I remember going to I used to get an hour bus to Newport. Then I'd have to walk across town, get the train to go to Cardiff. And I remember waiting outside the Weeder shop in Cardiff, right by Cardiff Castle. And I remember being one of the first people to get the 1991 Olympia video. And I remember getting it home, and I just watched that thing for about a month straight. It was such a good Olympia. Lee Haney, Dorian Yates, Vince Taylor, the lighting, everyone looked incredible. There was like 30 guys in it. It was absolutely amazing. What Olympia. Yeah.
So before we start with Olympia talk, we're going to talk about all the people who are in the show. You and I have not spoken since this past weekend when a guy named Nick Walker, Nick Walker, who has been third place. Before that, he was fifth place. He was one of the favorites going into this. He was a top guy, a top five guy for sure. Saturday morning, rumors that you and I had both been hearing for close to a week that he was going to be withdrawing were confirmed. Matt Jansen and Nick posted his explanation. Got that up on screen, but we haven't been able to share your thoughts on the whole matter. So give me your overview of the Nick Walker situation here with this.
Well, first I'm going to correct you. It wasn't Nick Walker and Matt Jansen. It was Matt Jansen posting and releasing the news on Nick Walker's Instagram. First of all, that's the first misdemeanor I think I need to address. It's something I've been thinking about the last couple of days, especially because somebody brought it up and I thought, that's a really good point. Because then he did his post where I know it's hard to tell how he's looking and stuff, but okay, now, if we address the rumors, are we allowed to talk about the rumors we've heard? I mean, I'm not stating them as fact. I'm just saying
as long as we say this is a rumor, go for it.
Yeah. Okay, now the rumors were he was sold like fake gear and his body wasn't responding. Yeah. Okay, now first of all, let's go to the fake gear. Now, you and I have used gear for, I haven't used gear for 2 years, but I mean, obviously I was on it, from the age of like 16, 17 to my heart attack. Sorry, that's another story. But the thing is with fake gear, I mean, okay, so you do a 12-week, what does he do? 12-week, 16-week prep?
16, yeah.
Okay, does a 16-week prep. 2 weeks in, you should know whether your gear is shit or not.
Yeah.
Fair? Yeah, sorry, I get really annoyed.
Yeah. Well, let me stop you there. I've had bad gear only a couple times, and I knew within 2 weeks because I would go off between. I would see like my delts would start looking a lot fuller. That was like the first thing I always noticed. They say natty delts versus. So yeah. If you're an experienced gear user, you know within 2-3 weeks at most. So yes.
I mean, if you're on fast acting stuff, I mean, probably doesn't start with fast acting. I used to switch to fast acting 6 weeks out. But if you say you've got some fast acting stuff, that can kick in within 3 or 4 days. Yeah. Now, and otherwise, I think it takes a good 2 weeks for like things like a Nanthe, even Sustanon. Well, Sustanon, I know it's got prop in it, but things like the kind of stuff you take at the start of like a 12-16 week prep. So there's that. Secondly, I'm not going to make light of the fact that he split up with his girlfriend because, as you know, I know people that have committed suicide over that, and it does hit people very, very, very hard. And I was thinking about where he was in Vegas. He bought his house. As I understand it, he'd split with his girlfriend, gone back to, I think it was New York or New Jersey to move back in with his parents temporarily. And then this is as I understand it. So just, like I said, guys, if you want to correct me in the comments, please do so. And then he bought a house back in Florida, and apparently he was there kind of by himself. So I kind of feel for him in that respect. But somebody put a comment and said, "Look, the mind goes where the body follows." Does it? The mind goes where the mind goes, the body follows.
Right.
So and let's be honest, right? The first thing that popped into my head when I heard that my body isn't responding. Now, unless you've got some serious metabolic damage, plus I've never seen him out of condition. So he's going to be starting a prep probably a lot harder and a lot better condition than a lot of guys are. So first of all, let's go back to the gear thing. A 1 week out, I think to me that's suspicious. To me, I rolled my eyes at that one. I did. I've got to be honest. Like I said, I've got to be honest with how I feel and how I responded. Sure. So the thing about being back in Florida and all that, and what was the other thing I was going to say? What was the other thing? The other So anyways, yes. Sorry. Body not responding. Now, First of all, whenever I've heard that in the past, you and I know we've been in the industry for decades. We've competed. We've known a lot of people who've competed. Usually, 9 times out of 10, when somebody says their body isn't responding, you just usually say to them, have you been running gear for like 2 years straight? And they'll go, yeah, I have. Well, you need to come off. You need to clean out so your body will respond. Like back in the day, Sean Ray, Kevin DeVrone, Ronnie Coleman, after the Olympia, they probably wouldn't even train for 3 months, let alone they would come off gear. A lot of these guys, it would come off sometimes till January, maybe even like Kevin DeVrone used to sort of only go on 12 weeks before a show. Yeah. So I'm not buying that either. I'm sorry that the whole body's not responding. And also these guys. Also, let's talk about the contract, because I think the contract now is, as far as I'm concerned, it's meaningless. Yes. Because unless you've got an actual medical reason, you should get that on stage. What about when Flex Wheeler in 1995 wasn't in his best shape, still did the Olympia, came 8th place? What about Lee Priest in 2003? He must have known he was looking like shit, but still did it and got last place at the 2003 Olympia. Yeah. Kevin DeVrone, what was he? It was 1 year when he got like 8th place in the Arnold Classic. Yep. Now, these guys don't look at themselves a week out and go, oh, shit, I'm not ready. Those guys still went ahead and did it anyway. Ronnie Coleman, 2001 Olympia, thought he was going to die and be taken to the hospital because he said he was that fatigued and dehydrated. Yeah. 1997 Dorian, his tricep hanging by a thread. I mean, I know the full story about that last couple of weeks. They put him on Nubane and everything. They said he couldn't train his upper body. He was in a lot of pain. And they said if they even bashed him, he said the whole tricep could have completely come off the bone. Yet he still did the Olympia. He had that internal bleeding. Yeah. So I'm sorry if I sound really, really heartless. And to be honest, I think he needs some psychiatric help. I genuinely do. And I'm sorry if that's. I mean that not in a mean way. I mean that from a place of love, because I think he's really struggling. I can see in that. Look in that video. He's really struggling, and I don't think he's clearly not a weak-minded guy. He's a very, very, But I just think he should be. I think he should be fined. I think he should be fined. I should say, okay. They should say, okay, then we accept your reason, but you've signed the contract. This is not a proper medical reason. Bunk gear is not a reason for pulling out of a show 1 week out. I mean, I just, like I said, I've given all my reasons there, and I just think, I wish him all the best, and I think he really needs to, if what I think is right, I think he really needs to have a complete clear out, come off gear for like a good several months, kind of reset everything. What about did you go see Ronnie Coleman when he just like the first week he started back training, went back on gear, and he put like 30 pounds in a week or something? I mean, it was like because his body was responding because it was so fresh. Because if you keep hammering the body all year round, you stay on gear all year round. And I know that, let's be honest, Matt Jansen is known for a guy that runs his guy on high GH. Let's put it out there. I mean, I might be wrong. I mean, some of these coaches, they're very open about what they put their athletes on. That's what we hear. So, right. He could have insulin resistance. I mean, I probably gave myself diabetes from running GH for too long. So I get it. So sorry, rant over.
No, that wasn't a rant. That was all legitimate. I just want to mention Victor Martinez, because someone I can't remember who pointed this out. Victor competed 1 year. His mother had just died. I think it was a couple weeks before. It was within a month. There you go. And another year he competed after his sister was murdered and her body had been stuffed into an air vent at the place she worked at. So,
fantastic points, Ron.
I mean, that's the psychological devastation. So I'm not saying, I don't know Nick that well to say, oh, he's mentally weak. Someone just said you guys should tell the truth about Nick, like Greg Doucette, but we don't know the truth. We don't know if there are health problems. A lot of people are saying, oh, it's health problem. We maybe, but we don't know. We can't say for sure. The whole gear thing, I don't want to get all scientific because I'm not that bright with gear, but people say, well, receptors, they upgrade, so they work better the longer you take them. Anyone that's been on gear for years knows.
Jesus Christ, who the fuck says that?
Well, a lot of people say that, but you and I both know the longer you've been on gear, it doesn't work as well.
Yes, exactly.
Your first few cycles are always your best cycles because your body's like, wow, what is this stuff? And you blow up. It's never like that again. So, we don't know what's going on with Nick. And, I don't like to speculate. People are going to speculate. I do feel for the kid. You could see in the video he was genuinely very upset, genuinely heartbroken that he's not.
He was last year, though. He was last year. Let's be fair.
Yeah. Last year, I mean, when an injury knocks you out, that's devastating. There's nothing he could do about that. And I also agree the contract seems to be meaningless because in the old days, like Lee Priest is one guy who got fined thousands of dollars on more than one occasion.
There you go.
Ended. Can you? I think there were a few other guys that got when Wayne DeMille was running the show. He was basically Joe Weider's axe man.
Do you remember? I remember the 1993 British Grand Prix. I've got photos I took in my office actually when Kevin Navone's announced third. Flex Wheeler didn't want to do that because he said he wasn't feeling well. And Wayne DeMille said, I want a guest post. And then Wayne DeMille basically said, no, you're doing it. And I was at that show. So I was 17 years old. I was at the show. And when in the prejudging, like Flex was like kind of down to on his tiptoes, like kneeling down, like bending down, crouched down, and he was hanging onto the curtain. I interviewed him about this, and I said, "What was happening?" He said, "Oh, I was really not well, but Wayne kind of made me compete." See, the thing is, like, Wayne was kind of hated by a lot of the athletes, but I tell you what, I think I'd be absolutely ruthless if I was in that position because I wouldn't accept these kind of. I'd say, okay, Nick, fine, you're telling us 1 week out because I put myself in the position of the promoters, the Olympia, who spent money on marketing, and I kind of because no one ever really puts themselves in their position because they're like, oh, they're the guys with the money, they're guys with all the power and stuff. But you know what? Having some of your top guys pull out and kind of giving that reason. I mean, for me, it's one step down from what Kai Green did in 2016. We were crying in the parking lot, saying they won't let me compete. And it's like, well, we know. Well, you and I know the story behind that. It was just because he wants a free trade stand, and that's why. That's what he was a Mexican. It was a Mexican trade-off. It was. And then basically Robin Chang turned around and said, well, if we have to give you a free trade stand, then we have to give them because Arnold had that Muscle Farm supplement range. We have to give Jay Cutler a free one. We have to give Ronnie Coleman a free one. So we can't. So basically, sign the contract or don't compete. So to me. I think it's almost in those realms. So, and you know what? I mean, I think he should have, like I said, I can go through each of those excuses and pick them apart, I'll be honest. But if his body's not responding, then you shouldn't let us know like more than 1 week out. Because the thing is, like the body responds to diet unless you've got severe like thyroid or metabolic damage. If you're running high dose of T3 and all those kind of, the cytomel, all those kinds of things all year round. Yeah. Or you've got some insulin resistance from too much GH, or your receptors are completely saturated and completely fried out. But like leaving that to 1 week out, I think I could have had a bit more understanding if it was 6 weeks out or 8 weeks out. The gear thing, like you said, that within 2 weeks. And the thing is, you're telling me these guys aren't well sourced? Come on now. Somebody
messaged me, and I'm not going to say who it was, and I'm not saying this is the truth, but they say I get my gear from the same guy he does, and I had a lot of problems with the gear too. This is a guy that I trust. He's been around the sport a long time. But so look at this. People are saying, well, he was so fat. It looks to me like a couple weeks ago he was in decent shape. This was 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whenever it was. It was in the midst of prep. You could see here that does not look like the big full. Crazy, freaky Nick Walker that we're used to seeing. So that to me, I sort of buy the fake gear theory. I think there might be something to that. But as far as how fat he was in that video, it looks to me like Matt and him decided maybe 2 weeks before they made that video, we can't do the show. And Nick just started binge eating because he was bloated. His face, you could see his belly. He was resting his hands on his belly. It was so big. Yeah. I think they said he was up to 280 pounds, that's his off-season weight. So I think he just gave up at that point because, and look at this. This is a guy that always posted full body pictures, always. True. Video, shirtless. True. And we didn't see anything except he's got the sleeveless shirts on.
I don't know. The whole thing doesn't add up for me. I'm sorry. It really doesn't. To be honest, I think his head just went. And I think I'd have a bit. If he's going to be transparent and honest, then why just be completely honest and say? And also, like maybe he should say, look, it's not a health thing. Here's my blood work. I'll post it up. I know it's kind of personal, but because the thing is, I mean, he's had when you look at like the percentage of kind of the comments, I mean, the people are really going at him, and I always try and see the other side and try and think of the what he's saying and what Matt's saying and stuff like that. But I just feel like they're not being completely honest, and I think for me that's an issue. So for him now, I don't know what he needs to do, clear out, whatever, get his head together, start dating again, whatever, get right back on the horse. Do you know what I mean? I know it obviously, because like I said, it really hits. I mean, it's, I've been in the past, it's hit me hard in times past. You know what I mean? But sometimes actually a prep actually can help you focus more as well. But it affects people differently, so I understand that. So maybe he needs to go get a clear out, do whatever, sort out whatever he needs to sort out, and go get his ass in the Arnold and try and win that $500,000. Because otherwise, his career is that's 2 Olympias he's missed now. And that's really not good for a guy who's been 5th and 3rd, and there's been so much hype and so much fan interest and so much support. So for me, it's he needs to. I think he needs to do that. But like I said, I'm sure he's what difference does my opinion make anyway? Really, for him.
Yeah, I just want to interrupt for a second before we go on. Best wishes to everyone in Florida. There is a massive, horrifying hurricane coming right at them. Big Mike Cox is right there in the eye of the storm coming up. They closed Disneyland already, so prayers for the safety of everyone in Florida. So okay, we've spent enough time talking about someone who's not in the Olympia. Let's start talking about the people who are in the Mr. Olympia. Let's start with the champ, the reigning champ, Derek Lunsford. Let's take a look at his latest updates. He has not been afraid to. This has got clothes on. There's his wife and his baby. But so this was 7 days out. He's putting stuff on YouTube. Smart guy, not putting too much on Instagram. But I do see. I know this is impossible to. You can't gauge how he's going to look on stage by some workout videos. But from what I've seen, I do see a little bit more separation and detail in those areas. Of course, we won't know for sure, but that's what drove me crazy last year is a lack of striations and separations in this area, the shoulders, the chest, and the arms. And Hadi has that in spades. So that's why I was kind of leaning towards Hadi in a lot of the poses last year for sure. But yeah, you can
you want to go? Okay.
Yeah, you can.
So where do you have Derek then?
I still have him winning. I have him winning.
I do, actually. I do. And all the year on the Power Hour, obviously I've been saying every single week in full transparency. I think I would say 80% of the year I had Hadi winning this. I saw him at the RGK. He really impressed me.
Yeah.
I actually had him winning the Olympia last year by a sort of hair last year. I wasn't blown away and completely shocked that Derek won, but I did have Hadi winning. Hadi for me was improved at the Arnold Classic. Because the one thing I felt like he lacked was kind of like back separation, back detail. And I felt that's where Derek really, really closed the gap on him and really kind of shot past him. The only thing he really kicked his ass on. But Hadi kind of fixed that for the Arnold and the RGK. Having said that, I've really, really looked at this now. And I think that I think if I was to bet, I would say that Derek will be improved because I think his physique still had room left for improvement. And I feel like he's maybe halfway into his career. I don't know, maybe 2/3. Yeah. Whereas I think Hadi, when I'm looking at some of the videos from the Arnold Classic and stuff, I can already see signs of wear and tear. And that's only really to people who really like me, really known this guy. I mean, like I said, I was there when he competed in bloody San Marino in 2017. He blew me away. I've seen how his physique really peaked for me in 2019 at that Vancouver show. Was it Vancouver or Toronto? Vancouver. Yeah. I thought, that to me was peak Hadi. And I've seen him, I've seen his back get bigger. I saw him, look fantastic at the 22 Olympia when he won. I had him winning. I agreed with that. Yeah. But I think I don't think Hadi can really get that much better.
Right.
And I think his body is starting to show what signs of wear and tear. If you look at the triceps, if you look at them compared to how they were back in like 2019, they've lost like a bit of fullness. When you get older, the triceps start to slightly climb up the arm. There's that video from the front. He does the front relaxed posing at the Arnold Classic, and you can see and also in the shoulders and stuff. I felt like he's just starting to so basically I think he's going to be great, but I don't think that he's going to be any better. I don't think he can really improve at this point. And I think it's going to be a really, really close battle between him and Derek. But I just honestly think Derek is going to be the slightly more improved athlete, and now he's already the champion. And I think Hadi might even be better than he was last year, but I still don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to be like a 2% thing behind Derek. So, so like I said, I'm completely changing my mind. Yeah, see there, I can see like a change in his physique. I can see it in his biceps, his triceps. It's the arms mostly. He used to have fuller arms, and also there's the slight imbalance between the left and the right leg, which Derek doesn't have. You know, Derek's got those crazy back shots, which looks like they've got even crazier. I think it's going to be close, but I still think Derek's gonna take this one. But I've definitely got Hadi in a clear second.
Yeah, I mean, like you nailed it when you said Hadi's been doing this a very long time. I think he's been competing since the early 2000s.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's not getting any better at this age. He's awesome. He's amazing. He was a Mr. Olympia. He won the Arnold and the Arnold UK this year. He's awesome, but he can't. I don't feel there is any room for improvement with him. He's maxed out. It's as good as he's going to get. Whereas Derek, still younger. Derek in 2016 was a middleweight or a welterweight. 2017 he moved up to light heavy and won the USA. So he's been improving. You know, not just size, muscle quality, everything year after year after year. And I said, after these Arnold shows where Hadi just blew them away, I said, this Hadi would have beaten the Derek from last Olympia, but we're not going to see that Derek again. We're going to see a Derek that's had a whole year.
There you go.
Somebody who's still he's not even halfway through his pro career, I don't think. I mean, maybe if you want to say halfway, that's generous, but he's got a lot of good years left in him, and he's going to get better and better. So when you have someone that's that good,
now this is not criticizing Derek, but let's be honest. What has he actually done since becoming Mr. Olympia? I know we keep hearing that. I mean, as soon as he became Mr. Olympia, I know he did that thing with Hulk Hogan. He went to a party or something, but really, I mean, in a good way for us now, when we see him on stage, it's going to be good in the respect that he's literally been knuckling down and working all year. Yeah. He has done, I mean, to my knowledge, he's done very little traveling. He hasn't really gone outside of Florida, which is kind of what Dorian's attitude was. It's like, you know, you had Jay Cutler who was traveling every weekend, Ronnie that was traveling all the time. And you had someone like Dorian who did I think we had like 1 or 2 seminars a year in England when he was Mr. Olympia. He did like he did like 2 or 3, like it was like a small handful of guest posings. Yeah. You know, and there was certainly nothing like a good 10, 12 weeks before the Olympia. He'd never even considered it. So I think even though it's not been good for, you know, whatever the sport or whatever, but at the end of the day, the fans only care about really when it comes down to how these guys look, you know, when and I think that's what Derek has done, and that's what he needed to do for him to basically not just, you know, just improve, but hold on to the title. So, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, you know, I actually want to apologize to both Big Ramy and Hadi Choopan, because while they were Mr. Olympia, the years after they won, I was critical, saying, well, these guys aren't doing much. They're not touring. They're not coming to the USA. They're not doing. And you know what? We had a guy right here in the USA, Derek. Derek didn't travel around the world and promote the title and be the ambassador either. So my bad, guys. My bad. Please accept my apologies, Ramy and Derek.
Nicely said. No, it's the thing is though, it's like I remember the hate Jay Cutler got when he turned up in 2007 when Victor Martinez should have beat him. I mean, I spoke to him and he said I was away almost every weekend because I was getting so many offers to like 5K to do guest posings here and there, you know, and all these appearances, which obviously which I saw a video the other day, he actually invested in all these properties, which is now he's worth tens of millions, you know, so it was smart in that respect. But then he turned up to the 2007 Olympia, nowhere near as good as the year before. 2008 did the Olympia, got beat by Dexter, and then learned the lesson that in 2009, okay, then I think past June, I'm not doing any guest appearances because I need to do what I need to do in the gym and the bloody kitchen, you know, and with sleep and rest. That's all I need to be doing. You know, like you said, the boxy lifestyle, living in that box. And that's what he knew he needed to do to come back like he did in 2009. So it is a fine balance. So I kind of get it. Okay, let's read some of the comments. Or
yeah, I mean, they're still talking about it's going back to the Nick stuff.
Okay.
It's you know, it's kind of takes away the shine from the guys who are competing. That's why I sort of try to shy away from it. But
yeah,
I mean, it's a huge talking point. Bloating can be a medical symptom because food. Bloating has been there since his pro career started. Yeah, his belly was pretty large in New York. I was there. Yeah, because I was off to the side a little bit in the front row. So a lot of the pictures I posted of Nick, like I couldn't post any of the back pictures because, you know, they're letting their gut pop out when they're doing their back poses, and it was rough.
I hate to say it, but Derek really doesn't have a very good most muscular, does he?
It's not as good as Hadi's, no.
Oh, it's nowhere near. I mean, Hadi from the front, really. I mean, I would love to see like an all-time best Hadi, but I think we have seen the best of him. I think he's done wonders with that frame of his. I mean, I just can't, because I look for flaws. You see, I guess I'm kind of like a judge in that respect. I'm looking for the flaws, and also I have like it burnt in my memory of how he looked in 2019, 2021, 2022, 2017. And for me, like if you really, really know, really know these guys' physiques and you have it burned in your memory, he's not, even though he's bigger from the back. And I remember 2022, he came in 10 pounds heavier. And even though he'd lost a little bit of condition, he was fucking huge from the back. I mean, I was like, when he hit that, I was in the second row and I hit the rear lats, but I was like, wow, he's put some size on. And it was kind of all in those back shots.
Right.
But which to me looked, it's funny because he came in softer in 2022, but he fixed the delts as well, which I actually hate those, the jabbing up the delts. And then he won the Olympia, So Milos said he would have won in 2021 if he didn't have the jabbed up delts. So I just hope that's calmed down as well. I hope he's learned his lesson on that one, because for me that is so distracting. And if I'm seeing it, then 100% the judges are going to see it as well.
Well, he's been here in the U.S. for a few weeks now. He's been staying with Hani Rambod. Hani is not going to let that. He's not going to let him do that.
Yeah,
Hani would smack him. I wouldn't smack him, but he'd say, "No, dude." In Farsi, you can't do that. They will score you down because it's going to be so close. Even if Hadi is as good or better somehow than we saw him at the Arnold, he's still going to have a dogfight on his hand with Derek. And let's see who else. I want to. I got to go to Andrew Jack. I mean, everyone's talking about him.
Yeah. my guy.
They're not just talking about him because he's doing this tour with Giles right after.
Oh, of course not. Of course not.
That is that's a valid thing. So let's take a look at his Instagram. I know we're not going to see any shirtless updates or anything. I got in trouble for saying shirtless. People saying, "How dare you?" That word is awful.
Why? Why? What is wrong with people?
So I'm guessing there's nothing here with the shirt. No, there's his bath. Took a jacuzzi, I guess. Okay. So Andrew does not post the typical update shots. He sort of keeps us in suspense, which I know you actually appreciate because, you came up in that Dorian era where he just showed up and kicked everyone's ass. You haven't seen any updates, have you, on the secret, on the down low?
No. I've left him alone, to be honest. I booked his flights 5 or 6 days ago, and I said, now your flights are booked, mate. I said, I'll leave you alone now until after the Olympia. There you go. So,
I haven't seen them. Jose Raymond, we've been messaging off and on for the past couple weeks about this. He sees the updates every day because he's a good friend of Chris Aceto, Jose. Cool. That was his coach, and he assures me that it's crazy. He's looking amazing. He wouldn't be surprised. Jose, he calls it like he sees it. He says, I wouldn't be surprised if he wins. So the Mona Lisa of bodybuilding. Let's see.
So do you want me to give you my take?
Yeah. Andrew.
I think Andrew's going to be third. But you know what? For some reason, I keep this image keeps popping into my head of him and Derek being the last two standing and the crowd going nuts. I would not be shocked. I would not be shocked if he was in that top two or even won it, because let's face it, if this guy, because the thing is, he was 8th in 22, he was 5th in 2023, and both times he was like sick or he was off, and I mean, like I spoke to one of the judges in Sweden who was who was judging at Texas, and he said, like I said last week, he said, Giles, there's only been so many times in all these years I've been involved in the sport back to the 90s. He said that I've actually ever really, and also other judges were that shocked and that impressed with what they saw. And they said he was just there. He was posing effortlessly. They put him through 5 rounds of posing, trying to wear him out. He said, but he was just like a machine. He said he was savage. It was fierce. The fierce was the word he used. He said he didn't even show on his face. He said it was like he was so effortless for him. Now, and obviously, I would love to see a tall Mr. Olympia again. Nothing against the shorter guys, but I would just like to see it just as a bit of a change, because, sure. I mean, I suppose Rami was the last semi-tall pro, Mr. Olympia we had, wasn't it?
Well, the last, I mean, I wouldn't call him tall. I've stood next to him. I thought he was taller. I'd give Rami 5'10" at the tallest.
Oh, okay. So it's not.
That's still for a body, compared to Hadi and Derek, that's pretty tall.
Yeah, and I would, I mean, obviously for obvious reasons, I would love to see Andrew win it because my tour will just go completely gangbusters. Then it'll explode. It will literally explode, So and that's all in place now. It's all booked. So I've got him. I think most likely I can see him in third. But I mean, at the end of the day, there's 4 guys that can win this. It's Samson, Andrew, Hadi, and Derek. That's my top 4. I don't see anyone cracking that unless somebody seriously messes up, and I don't see that either. But I think third place is where I'm going to comfortably place Andrew. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So, Samson has his supporters too. We need to talk about Samson too. Where would you, in what scenario does Samson beat Andrew? What would have to happen? Well,
in any, I mean, they're neck and neck. I mean, Samson has beaten Andrew at the Arnold Classic and the Olympia. I mean, I said to Samson a couple of years ago, I said, if you can just do enough to stay ahead of Andrew Jack, you'll keep on rising to the absolute top. But I'm going to ask you a question now, Ron.
Yes.
I asked you this on text, so I think you know what's coming. France Samson versus Texas Andrew. Who wins?
I give it to Andrew.
Yeah, me too. Me too. But I will say though, Samson, the improvements he made in France for me were different to the improvements he's made in years past, because the ones he'd made over those 2 or 3 years when he went from like 280 to 300. It was a case of him coming in bigger and bigger and bigger. And obviously the conditioning got better as well. Because I was at the Arnold UK finals and there was nothing wrong with his conditioning. His conditioning was absolutely fantastic. I was very impressed. But for me, he's made some really nice, subtle improvements to his physique. His arms are bigger. I feel like the waist was narrower from the front. I actually thought there was improvements in his posing, because I'm going to say something really controversial here.
Uh-oh.
I'm not actually that crazy on Samson's posing.
He won best poser.
I know. No, but do you know why? No, let me clarify.
Yeah,
he's a good poser, but I think he has the potential to be an even better poser. And the posing routine he did in France, where he's actually holding, because I love his transitions, I love his passion, I love his creativity, I love that energy he brings, but he doesn't hold the poses. So for me, that doesn't make him a great poser. So because you watch it, I'm thinking, because I spent 15 years as a photographer, 17 years as a photographer in the industry. And I'm telling you, when I've watched his routines in the past, I've been like, he's a nightmare to photograph. Because he does some beautiful shots. But look, hang on, look at this. Look.
Yeah, he doesn't hold the poses.
He didn't hit the pose properly. Not hold. Look, okay, now what? Keep watching this now. There you go. Look, he's not looking up. He's looking down.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah. I want to echo what you said, because a lot of times I was doing the play-by-play and I'm trying to take pictures to post.
There you go.
So we could do the photos to the website, the MD website. And he did. It was so hard to get good pictures of him, because as soon as I was ready, clicking the picture, he was already out of the pose.
Ready? Watch this. See, look, didn't even keep his hand there. This is where it annoys me watching, because he's hitting some beautiful shots, so aesthetic, so graceful, but he's not holding the poses. I mean, how are the judges supposed to see what he's bringing? Is this the Arnold Classic he won?
Yes.
Do you know what? He is a lot bigger actually now.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I'm actually seeing the size difference now from the Arnold Classic of 2023. He is actually, I take it back, actually, he's actually quite a bit bigger in the France footage. So, but I like the improvements he's made to his physique. I just hoped he wasn't going to come in like another 10, 15 pounds, ruin the midsection. He's made really nice, subtle improvements to his physique, because he's improved body parts. He's got his waist narrower. So to me, that and like I said, his posing routine was really nice in France, because he really, really held those shots. Yeah. And like for me, like I said, when it gets to this level, Ron, I mean, these tiny little things, they add up. Like with Hadi, like the lack of back separation, the bad posing, the bad tan. These things these little people say, oh, these details don't matter. Yeah, but when it's close, little details do matter, because then you're giving judges the excuse to give it to the other guy who doesn't. You know what I mean? Because like Derek came out, beautiful routine. Tan was perfect, condition was good. So if you say these things don't matter, but unfortunately they do.
And yeah, my final concern, if I'm a Samson fan, he also put out a video. He just got to Vegas on Monday, and I guess there was flight delays. There was all kinds of issues. Oh, God. He had not slept for 24 hours. And, I was on the Muscle Discord podcast with Chris Cormier, Vinny Galanti, a couple others. And, they're saying, why didn't Hostile can afford to get him there a week sooner? Why didn't they do that?
Ron?
Yes.
What did Sean Ray used to do back in the day?
Didn't he get there like a month ahead of time or something?
He had an apartment in Vegas. He actually had a separate house that he owned in Vegas.
You're right.
So like 2-3 months out, I don't know what it was, 6 weeks, 2 months, 3 months. He was in Vegas, entrenched. You don't get there the week before, and then something like a bloody it's like I hope Derek Lunsford with this bloody hurricane. I hope that he's in Vegas now, because imagine if he was stuck in traffic. I mean, it's like and then didn't sleep or eat properly for 2 days, or got stuck in this bloody this evacuation they're doing. Like stuff like that. You don't get there a week before. You get yourself, you call up Flex Lewis. Hey mate, fellow Brit. Flex probably would have had him stay at his house. I mean, like I said, that's personally, we're nitpicking here. But if you haven't slept and stuff like that, then this can seriously mess you up. And the thing is, jet lag, stuff like that. I mean, this is one of the reasons why I said you shouldn't have done France.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm giving the benefit of that, because I've seen people turn things around very quick. Oh, we went shooting. Okay, I've seen people. Is that Marlena shooting? Who is that? I don't know. We took some time out to fire some machine guns or something.
Fair enough.
Oh yeah, it was Marlena shooting some machine guns. So he's got time to reset. My only concern was that the condition I saw him in the France show was only 13 days away from the Olympia, and I don't know how much body fat you can drop, because he did have a couple pounds to go for sure, and I don't know if it's going to be enough, because Andrew he was in contest condition back in August at the Texas Pro. He's had a lot of time for his coach Chris Aceto to dial him in 100%.
Does Samson's face look drawn into you?
To me, it never does.
Yeah. Usually a red flag for me, mate. That's a red flag for me. I mean, I remember, like I said, I used to wait at the hotel where the guys used to come in for the British Grand Prix for years, all through the 90s. I knew exactly what time they'd be coming. I used to wait there. And I used to watch them all coming in, and I could tell exactly who was in condition, who wasn't, purely by their face. And every single time with every single athlete, I was right by the time they hit the stage. So I remember Kevin Avron always had the sharp cheeks, and I remember one year he didn't, and that was the year he didn't do well.
Leo, so the other night on that Muscle Discord, Chris Cormier said he had Hadi beating Samson for the past few months in his head for the Olympia. He said, but I saw something in Derek. He usually has those chipmunk cheeks, and for the first time, he had seen a really sunken, with all the deaths in bodybuilding, I hate to say death face, but that's what it looks like when your face is all sucked up and drawn. And he saw that in Derek.
Nice. Ron, look at that posing. That's beautiful. Isn't that beautiful? Like that's to me is like, I'm kind of like from Sean Ray, Kevin Avron, Vince Taylor. These were my Leela Barada. These guys were my kinds of poses. I mean, the thing is like that crucifix shot. That is pretty much. I mean, I've really, really scrutinized that photo, and I can't fault it. I cannot pick a single fault with it, because I think it looks absolutely beautiful. Yeah. I mean,
I like you, I have Andrew beating him in my head right now, but it would not shock me one bit if he took third.
Look, Ron, sorry to interrupt, mate. Any of those four guys could win it. I mean, at the end of the day, that top four could go anywhere. In fact, I will state now, unless one of them really messes up or something goes horribly wrong, I don't see anyone penetrating that top four apart from those four guys.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of fans posting their predictions. So a lot of them have Andrew and Samson 1 and 2, with Derek and Hadi 3 and 4, which sounds insane.
No, it wouldn't shock me. I wouldn't shock. And if somebody says there, Andrew looks small next to Samson. Yeah, but Andrew, maybe you're thinking of the Andrew from last year, or from the Texas Andrew. If that's an indication of what we're going to be seeing in Vegas, basically, I think you can basically guarantee that Samson, like purely just looking from that footage there from the Arnold Classic last year to the Olympia, to the France show this year, he's a lot bigger. And he's made subtle improvements in his physique, getting the waist smaller. The arms are bigger. He's got better separation in the outer arms. He's calmed the side delts down as well, because I'm a big critic of that.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm finding. I found Samson. He's intercostal. Sorry, I keep saying. Is it the obliques or the serratus? Whatever. Yeah, whatever. There's all side. I call them the intercostals. I know I'm probably completely wrong anatomically, but I've always called them that.
Yeah.
The side of the abs, which really looks nice in the quarter turn. For me, that looked really rock hard and prominent. So it's going to be, they're basically him and Nick, Andrew and Samson are both going to be improved. It's just who's improved the most. That's why I asked you, France Samson or Texas Andrew, because I know that the shock that everyone, but there was more people at the Texas show, is more coverage, Yeah. And Samson looks absolutely amazing there. I mean, it looks absolutely. I mean, that is hard to fault. Let's be honest. I mean, I'm really, you could put a gun to my head and I'd be like, I can't really fault him. He looks incredible. And he's big. Traps look good as well.
In the you can't win category, the last time we did that show we did a power hour focusing on Samson right after the win.
Yeah.
And you were so complimentary, Samson. You got accused by me of being you're a liquor. And it's either that or you're a hater. You just can't win with a lot of these fans. Either you're kissing their ass and being a ball licker, or you're this and that, you're sucking them off, or you're a hater, you hate him, you just you have something against him. So
Que sera, sera, that's all I'll say.
Whatever will be, yeah.
Well, hang on a minute. I'm doing a tour with someone who's a hater.
Andrew Jack?
Andrew Jack is doing a tour with someone who's been called an Andrew Jack hater.
Well, you know what? You know why they said your ulterior motive for being so nice, so complimentary to Samson is you want to do a tour with him. Not that you wouldn't do a tour with him, but I mean, come on, guys. Giles doesn't have to.
Honestly, I've got no biases because thing is, I don't think enough about what I think about. I don't think of it. I don't think of things strategically or like politically or what's the word? Strategically. I don't think, this will benefit me in this way or that way or anything personal. My mind's a million thoughts a minute. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I literally just say what I see. I mean, like I get after the live when I do these live stream commentary trips, I get people messaging me saying, "Thank you so much for saying that. Oh, I really appreciate it." It's like, well, don't have to thank me. I'm just literally saying what I see in front of me live. I mean, I don't have time to stop and think about, how will this benefit me or be detrimental to me if I say this or say that? Or I better say this. I better think, it's I ain't got time for that shit. I never have. I mean, that's why 30 years in the industry now. That's why I've been doing it. So, and whether I love you, hate you, whatever, I don't know. Like I said, I don't really have personal feelings either way with these guys. I respect all of them. I think they're all incredible. But at the end of the day, our job is here to critique and, give positives and negatives. So, there you go.
We need to start talking about, we got the top four in no particular order, pretty much locked down. I think that's a very safe bet. People do bet.
I put money on it. I put money on it.
Okay. Put some quid on it, as you guys say, some squids. So fifth place, let's start talking about the most likely.
Oh, shit.
Well, okay. This is a guy a lot of people really, especially if you're from Brazil, I'm sure this is you have him even higher than this, but Rafael Brandao is someone that he's made some improvements for sure. We saw him come out at this Arnold Classic South America back in April, I think it was. And he's definitely bigger. He definitely kept the shape. Has he made enough improvements? Because I believe, and this is where, how they have the fact checking has become a big phrase here in the U.S. with the presidential and the vice presidential debates. But Giles is my fact checker, guys. When I mess up and say he took third place or fourth, Giles always goes, nope, it was fourth place, and it was 1992. And I'm like, yep, Giles has a memory like a freaking steel trap. So what's the highest Rafael has placed so far? Is it 10th, 9th?
Oh, he's 10th at the Olympia in 2022, and he was third at the Arnold Classic behind Samson back in March, and then he won the Arnold Classic Brazil in South America, they call it. That's what he won.
So for him to jump up to top 5 would be a massive leap. Call you on third place for you, Joe.
Yeah, you should actually. Yeah, you should. Well, I messaged Andrew and I said, mate, I mean, you're going to be top 3, bro. And he said, one step at a time, bro.
Andrew's not mad at Giles. Andrew is going to go on an amazing tour with Giles. They're going to meet fans. Yep. He's going to sell a lot of merch. He's going to do well. Andrew's not mad at. All right, so this guy Benji, I've had Rafa in fifth solid even before Nick dropped out. Yeah, because we haven't seen these two on stage next to each other in quite a while. Him and Nick. Nick's out of the show, so that's irrelevant. But Rafael, he does look damn good. It's gonna be a dogfight. I think one of the biggest fights is going to be the 5th through 7th spots. I think that's
agree.
Competitive.
I agree. Do you know what? I mean, I saw that picture he posted this morning with Neil Hill and all his team around him, and he looks absolutely phenomenal. He looks so phenomenal. It looks like they've actually photoshopped the picture and made his head smaller because he looks so much bigger. Now, I understand he was behind on his prep. I know he had the baby. Yeah. But also, like if anyone's going to help him speed up on prep, it's going to be someone like Neil Hill, because Neil Hill will be that's his main guy now. So he's going to make sure he's going to be on his ass, Sure. So in that one picture and a little bit of video footage there, I like this video footage. He looks phenomenal, but I've got oh God, I can't believe I'm saying this. I've got a funny feeling this condition won't be on.
Really?
I've got a feel because you notice that he's not showing anything from the back. Purely the fact, I know he's had a baby and all that, but I've got a funny feeling he's just going to miss the mark by a smidge. I think Martin will take him actually. Because all year, actually, before early the first half of the year, I was like, he's going to be top 6 Olympian. In fact, I had some conversations with Neil Hill back and forth. Neil likes to send. We don't ring each other. We'll just send each other like a 3-4 minute voice note, and we'll do like 10 of them. I mean, we could it'd be easier just to pick up the phone. It's funny because it's real funny because like, it'll be like, voice note, 5-6 minutes. And then it's Neil going into real nerdy kind of intricate detail about, because he's very passionate. He's very, like these top guys, they're very scientific, like you try and talk to someone like Stefan Kinzel about prep and stuff. It's like, it blows your mind how much intricate detail these guys go into. So I'm rooting for Raphael. If he's in condition and he's nice and crisp from the back, then yeah, he could be a contender for 5th place. Absolutely. No doubts there. But I've just got this horrible feeling he's going to turn to the back and he's not going to look as good from the front. And that photo, people saying, oh, it's a mirror photo. It's this, it's that. And it's just an instinctive feeling. I'm really, really hoping, I'm going to be so happy if I'm watching on this screen here in the studio on Friday. I'm hoping it's going to be like, yeah, he's really nailed it. Fantastic. Phew, that was a close one. But I've got a feeling he's, because I know he's doing Romania.
Oh, okay.
So I've got a feeling if he doesn't nail it for the Olympia, he will nail Romania. And I think even if he's going up against someone like Samson or whatever like that, I think he's going to be with a good chance to win it, because the size he's put on here, if he brings that right in, he's going to be dangerous. Because thing is, he's one of those guys that beautiful aesthetics, beautiful balance. But when I remember our checking some video footage, sat second row at the 2022 Olympia. It was just like you could see the size difference between him and the guys in the top 6. I don't like this side chest as well. He's lost all his separation. I know serratus, intercostal, we want to call him. I know they're nice and crisp and the legs look nice and separated and dry, but that side chest, it looks a bit like he's lost all his detail. And you know what causes that, Ron?
Usually SEO, usually injecting, but
or insulin, stuff like that. Because he is a lot bigger this year and he's put a lot of size on. So I'm just hoping and praying he hasn't ruined his shape, because that Raphael has got one of the most beautiful shapes. I mean, he's one of those guys, because I've interviewed him a couple of times and I said, you've done it so steadily, 4 pounds, 5 pounds, 4 pounds. That's a good shot. He's done it so steadily. I just hope that all this size has not turned him into like a bit of a blocky mess, because he has got a really, really pleasing physique. And he's another guy who understands the importance of keeping us tight midsection and nice lines and keeping his symmetry and making sure that everything's balanced. So I'm just hoping, fingers crossed, he's kept that. I don't like the haircut as well. I don't like that. He shouldn't have shaved it. No, he's I don't know. I things like that shouldn't matter, but I don't know. I was a bit like, no, what's he shaved his head for? I don't think that's a good look.
Yeah, I mean, I wish him the best. He's a great guy. We've both, I
love him. He's a great guy. Great guy.
I'm also a little concerned that we have seen nothing from the back, because
there you go.
When these shows are one from the back, it's not. It's really referring more to the detail and the condition from the back, more so than the back development. Also, remember if you remember, I said at the Arnold Classic, I thought he matched, maybe even definitely held his own in the side shots with both Hadi and Samson at the Arnold Classic. That's why I was so impressed with him in Ohio when he took 3rd, because those side shots, I was like, no, Hadi and Samson, there isn't this isn't like Hadi and Samson and everybody else. He really was very, very, very close to them. In fact, I felt like he matched them, maybe even superseded them in those side shots. Look, he's not in that condition now. Yeah,
when's that from? Is that from early this year or is it recent?
I believe that was from before the Arnold.
There you go. He's not in that condition now, mate. He's not in that condition now. I'm sorry. I think he's going to be. I think he if he has nailed it, and he does nail it, I think he could be as high as 5th. But I think he's if he's not, he's going to slip probably. I probably maybe he might fall around 8th or 9th. Because I said to Neil Hill in the year, I said I think he's an 8th or 10th guy from what he displayed at the Arnold Classic. But I think he's got the potential to be top 6. Do you know what I mean? And Neil was like, look, I just want to get him higher than 10th. That's the goal. That was months ago. Yeah. But seeing that there, and also that side shots, I'm seeing real lack of detail, which he's always kind of, the aesthetic guys, they have to have that detail. Do you know what I mean? If they want to, just retain that shape and aesthetics, which is kind of his calling card.
Yeah, I don't think we should go any further without mentioning Brandon Curry, because Brandon was Mr. Olympia in 2019.
Yeah,
he was 2nd, and he's been 4th. He hasn't been lower than 4th in 5 years. It would be pretty crazy for him to drop out of the top 5 this year. A lot of people in their predictions have him like 8th or 9th or 10th or something. But last year the guy was in the hospital He showed up. To me, that was like the worst Brandon I'd ever seen last year, from the back especially. Super flat, had lost all the pop, and he still took 4th place.
But he looked better the second day. Do you see how quickly he recovered the second day?
Yes, he did.
Like the second day, he looked like a legit top 6 guy. But the first day, because he didn't eat anything or drink anything for like 24 hours when he was in hospital. This is another guy that, like the Ronnie in 2001 or the Dorian in 97. It goes back to the whole Nick Walker pulling out thing. There's a guy that was in a hospital bed, with stomach problems, and then he literally gets discharged. Because I was messaging Brandy, and she says, "Oh, he's out. He's out." Me and AJ were messaging. She's like, "What's going on? What's going on?" You spoke to Brandy. And then, literally, like at the last minute, he's literally rushing to the, to make the bloody Meet the Olympians. Oh, was he at the Meet the Olympians? I think he wasn't, was he?
No, he was not.
That's right, because he was still in hospital. So he literally made it by the skin of his teeth. So, but going to Brandon, mate, I have no idea where I placed him. I have such a cop out on this one. I just don't know where I'm going to place him. I really don't. And I think he's given us nothing in the up. He's given us nothing in the updates. I mean, like I said, some guys like to do that. Some guys like to show a bit of body part or a flash of this, a flash of that. But I've got nothing to go on other than guesswork.
No, I agree. I mean, I was just looking at his Instagram, and there's nothing. And he was always posting. There's a couple things where he's got. I'll go to it. There's a couple things where he was posting with a T-shirt on or something, but he was always posting. That doorway it must be in the back of Oxygen Gym.
Yeah.
And we have in this. I don't even think this is current. This was posted a couple weeks ago, but I think that's footage from a previous year. I don't think this is current at all. It could be. I could be wrong, but
I don't know.
I don't know either. So like
I love me. I love Brandon, mate. I love Brandon. He's a cool guy, and he's been. I mean, his exact placings have been 16th, 8th, 5th, 1st, 2nd, 4th.
Yeah.
That's all his Olympia placings. So he's really, and he's got no hospital sort of dramas this year. But I still don't know. I've got nothing to go on. It really annoys me, actually. But like I said, do you think the nothing to go on is a good sign, or what's your instincts telling you? Is that a good sign or a bad sign?
To me, it's a bad sign.
Yeah, for me it is as well. I think it's like I said I had kind of had this argument with Brandy before, and I said, like, look, this is all we have to go on. If somebody doesn't post much,
right,
you can expect when other people are. It's just the name of the game, unfortunately. Now,
Yeah, this was September 15th, so this is almost a month ago, but still. I don't know. He looks big and full, but I just don't see. I worry about what condition he's going to show up in. And we kept hearing rumors all weekend he was dropping out. I guess that turned out to be just another baseless rumor. But
I'm really. What I'll say is I'm hopeful. I'm very hopeful.
Fair enough. Let's move on. Another guy that we really need to talk about.
Martin.
Who's not someone? You got a package? You got a delivery there?
No, it's my chair creaking.
Bonac, man.
Yeah.
Well, Bonac, he had that one bad year a couple years ago when he dropped down to 7th, I think it was.
Yeah. No, 9th.
9th. This is a guy who's been 2nd place. He's been the top 5 multiple occasions. So to write him off would be ridiculous. He did. This is back at help me out, because people get mad when I can't remember the right show.
Ron, I was sat literally about 10 foot away from him doing the live stream commentary.
So what show was this?
Empro.
Thank you. Empro. Is it France,
Spain.
right?
No, Spain. He beat in Alicante. He beat Beirut.
Okay, there you go. So he's back in his best form. I don't know why. I've seen a lot of top 10 predictions, and I think I don't think it was intentional, but a lot of people just didn't even have him in their top 10. I think they forgot about him.
Yeah,
because he's been gone, and that was a show. It didn't get a ton of coverage, the Empro show. So I think a lot of people forget he's even in this Olympia, but he's in it, and he's back to top form. I don't think it's inconceivable he's 5th or 6th place this year either.
I would not be shocked, but for some reason he's falling around 8th for me. I think he'll definitely be top 10. I don't see him falling at the top 10 because seeing this footage here from Empro, which was in May, wasn't it? May, June? Was it June? I've got June.
I think June.
Yeah, it was June. Yeah, because I was there. And then if you see how he looked in Dubai, he's got a lot bigger, and the Bonac of old has really come back with a vengeance. I mean, to be honest, he looks like 10 pound, 15 pound down. I mean, it's probably not. It's probably like 3 or 4 pounds, but he looks so much thicker and more like the Bonac of old from when he was at his absolute peak, winning 2-time Arnold Classic champion, 2nd in the Olympia. top 5 Olympia, like 2017 Olympia when he was third. I actually had him second next to Phil Heath, ahead of Ramy. Saw him at the All Europe that year, 2017. I feel like he's getting close to back how good he was. And I think if you saw how he looked in Dubai, I think, and the thing is, you don't know, he might be that those improvements might still be coming. I know he had a baby last week, and I messaged him. I said, "Mate, you bloody stay on prep." I said, "No cheating, man." And he sent me like some laughing emojis, But I mean, based on this, he's not a top 10 guy. But what I saw in Dubai, I'm seeing, like I said, I'm seeing a bit of a comeback to the old Bonac, and that's got me really excited. So I absolutely in the top 10, and I'd love to see him beat some of the kind of the younger guys that maybe feel like they're ahead of someone like Old Man Bonac.
Yeah, Old Man Bonac. They're all so much younger than me.
He's young. He's like 6 years younger than me. Oh my god!
At least he's over 40 now, which used to be a dinosaur for a pro bodybuilder.
Jesus.
But no longer. So let's get into the Martian. Let's get into the Martian, man. Martin Fitzwater looked phenomenal. I was there at New York Pro, and it was a ballsy move because he had already won Detroit Pro. He had his Olympia qualification, but he wanted people to see him next to Nick Walker, and he wanted to beat Nick Walker, and he damn near did beat Nick Walker. I know the scores showed that. I'm pretty sure Nick had all first place votes. I could be wrong, guys. I've been wrong, thousands of times, but I didn't see it as a sweep by Walker at all. I think Martin had him on the ropes. He looked better shape, better condition. Nick was just bigger and freakier.
Do you know one thing I'm trying to, I'll have to think really carefully. Maybe we'll come back to this in a future power hour, but I've got to think, like, in all the years, I've never seen somebody get bigger, but also get more aesthetic at the same time. How the hell has he managed that? Because I'm just looking at this footage. I've looked at it many times from the New York Pro.
Yeah.
I mean, like his side shots, like you can see, like in the waistline, the midsection, he's got some beautiful lines that he didn't have before when he was smaller. Now, usually, like I'm saying, Raphael, if he gets too big, he might ruin those aesthetics. Martin's got bigger and better, but he's actually got more aesthetic. Like that takes some real doing, and I'd love to speak to him about how he managed that. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think I would say the majority of fans, if we were to do a survey, especially with Nick Walker now being out, I think many have Martin like really, really battling for 5th place here. Like, apart from those top 4 guys, those holy 4, that I think, like I said, no one's gonna. I think it's gonna be those 4 and everybody else. I would not be shocked if Martin in top took 5th place here. Actually, I think he'll beat Hunter. I think he's better than Hunter. I was looking forward to seeing him going against Behrooz, but obviously Behrooz is not making it now. Yeah. I think that second call out, like Martin, Brandon, Bonac, and Hunter and Raphael. I think it's going to be quite a bit. I think the second call out is going to be bigger than the first call out, because I think the first call out, somebody said in the comments there, I think it's going to be a 4-man first call out, and I actually kind of agree with that, because I think that'll indicate to the judges that the top 4 are of a certain standard and everybody else is of another standard. So I wouldn't be surprised if the first call out was those 4 guys, and the second call out was the guys I just mentioned: Bonac, Martin, Hunter. Who else have I missed out? Bonac, Curry, and Raphael. I think that's honestly who I see as being the top, like the kind of 4th through 8th, 9th guys.
Yeah. All right, we got to start talking about Hunter, because Hunter has been as high as 4th place, and he did win. He earned his way here again with a win.
Yeah.
Back in Italy, it was Italy. Ron, get it right. So I'll go to that video in a second. But the biggest criticisms were people were giving. They didn't think his condition was that great. They were calling him out on that pec tear, which he's had his entire pro career. That's nothing new.
Yeah.
He placed 4th at the Olympia with the pec tear before. He does have a little bit of a hernia at the top of his abdominal rows. I have the same kind. I think it's called epigastric hernia. It is a little unsightly, but and Cormier was talking the other night. He doesn't see as much quad separation on Hunter as he wants to see. He's definitely bigger, but is he better? Is he better than he was before? And that's the $1 million question.
I'm not the most biggest, craziest Hunter fan. I never kind of, I hate to say it, I never understood. I'll be honest, like I was more impressed when I saw him in the flesh in the Olympia in 2022. Yeah. But even still, I still think some of the guys we just talked about are better than him. For me, he's like a 9th, 10th place guy. I don't think he'll ever be 4th place again, unless I just don't see it happening. But he always looks great in his updates. He's improved. I think he is improved. I mean, the midsection didn't look very good in Italy, but he looks. I mean, look at him there. He looks dry, shredded, full. He looks good. I mean, he looks really, really full, detailed, dense. You know, he's very thick. His abs look nice and tight. But something always seems to go a little bit awry by the time he hits the stage, isn't it? I don't know whether it's just. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
ninth place for me, mate. I think he's around. I don't see him cracking the top. Would he be as high as 7th or 8th?
If he can come in with really, really dry condition, which that's been his Achilles heel. He's had like a slight film. I don't think it's been body fat. I honestly think it's a fluid thing that he's had in the past. If he can come in without that, he could definitely be a top 6 guy, but if he's
not top 6, not top 6. No.
I know.
No, I don't see him cracking the top 6. I think the absolute highest 7th, the absolute lowest 9th.
I could say that if his last name was different, if his name was like Hunter Jones,
14th.
he wouldn't have as many haters. A lot of people hate him. They think he's just had everything handed to him, and the judges give him special treatment and always give him a gift because he's Lila Brada's son.
But hang on. Sorry to interrupt. They do the same with Sergio.
True. Well, I mean, it hasn't really benefited Sergio. Sergio's had some poor placings.
That's my point.
The judges, if they wanted to give him special treatment, they definitely could have.
Yeah.
But and they say, well, Labrada, he's got a very supplement company that sponsors the shows and this and that. But
so what?
Hunter's done all this on his own. Nobody's done the dieting and the training, and they also come down on him because he's not working with, Boss of Outlaw or Chris Aceto or Hani Rambo. He's working with Ben Chow. I think Ben's done a great job. Look at that shot right there.
He has. And Ron, I bet 98% of the people that say that about his dad and all, now having everything handed to him, I bet they've never actually competed.
Oh, of course not. Because
at the end of the day, you know what it takes to look like that, to get to that level. I mean, it's like I said, there's levels to the sport. When you're at this top 10 Olympia guys, or even Olympia guys, these guys are not slacking. They've had fucking nothing handed to them, and if they have, then he hasn't squandered it. He's took it and run with it. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's still like I always say, like you can have people open doors for you, but it takes you to walk through them. And I think that's basically that's the fairest way of I mean, this is the guy that could have maybe, even with, say, great genetics, that might have not made it past national amateur level. But look, he's at the top. He's been 4th place in Olympia. You can't say that about someone that is, So he's got a gym that's his. Well, so have a lot of pros. Do you know what I mean? There's no difference. He's probably not even involved in the day-to-day running of it. Do you know what I mean? It's right. Yeah, it's no difference.
All right. Well, let's I think we're forgetting about some people.
Yeah.
Let's go to a guy I think everyone seems to have forgotten about is Akeem. Akeem did, was it 5th place in Ohio and 4th in UK?
That sounds right, yeah.
Okay, well, if I'm off by 1 point, guys, don't crucify me.
Was he 4th? Was he 4th in Ohio?
I know this for a fact. I know he improved drastically from Friday to Saturday.
I got 4th at the Ohio, and was he 3rd in the UK? I was there. I can't remember. He was in the top 5 in both, and he looked amazing. And it was for me. It was an actual comeback to greatness, because I mean, he wasn't at his best like he was at the 2020 Olympia when he was 6th place. Yeah. But it was a bloody good version of Akeem that I really, really was happy to see, especially after he had his problems. Yeah.
So his back is probably the one area that we've been critical of for years and years now. He does have high lats. He doesn't have the greatest detail in his lats. So you put his back next to someone like, Derek Lunsford's, and it's like, oh no. But I don't know. I think he's still someone who could squeeze into the top 10. He's been as high as 6th place before. It wouldn't be ridiculous. So what do you want to go to next? Classic or 212? Because we've already been talking about open.
Oh, hang on. There's a couple of guys I want to give special mention to.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I think John Jewett's looking tremendous, and I wouldn't be shocked.
We didn't talk about De La Rosa either.
De La Rosa, I've got a feeling I'd love to see John Jewett get like 10th. I'd love to see him squeeze into that top 10. I think he's going to be like a 10th, 11th to 13th guy, but I'd love to see him. I think he's really, look at that. I mean, he looks like in his 230s now. He looks amazing. It's such a good reason, such a good decision for him to switch to open. It really, really suits him, and I think he's really going to bring good condition. I think he's going to really do himself proud. He's going to look amazing. I maybe squeeze into 10th, but then you've got guys like Mohamed Foda. And Foda's really, really good, mate. And I think maybe there's a guy that could squeeze into 10th place. I think that 10th spot, 9th, 10th spot is going to be between Akeem, John Jewett, Foda, and De La Rosa. There's nobody else really that really jumps out. You know, I tell you what, I wouldn't be shocked if Theo got 10th. You know.
I forgot about Theo.
Theo's looking good, man. He's looking good. I know he kind of got overshadowed with Samson doing France, but he looked bloody good. He looked really good. He was improved. And De La Rosa looks a bit spongy to me there.
Yeah,
doesn't look hard, does he? It looks soft.
He's never had the deepest, clear separations between, especially, kind of like the issue that we have with Lunsford.
It looks like a GH look. Everything looks like full and hard, but not hard, but everything looks a bit spongy. I don't know. It's just the lighting or the video cut of the video, but he doesn't. I don't know. I think guys like Foda will take him, and I think John Jewett will outcondition him. So Akeem will outsize him. You know, I love John. He's awesome. He did great at the Arnold Classic.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so it's he's looking good, but see, I think Theo's better than him.
What happened to you?
Oh. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You dropped off for a second.
Oh, okay. No, I think Theo could beat him. I don't know whether he will, but I think Theo's got a more complete physique than him.
Let's take a look at Theo. Gosh,
he looks good, man. He looks good. He kept it quiet, and he only posted a couple of updates a few weeks ago. But and he looked good at France. But like I said, all eyes were on Samson. You know, and all the other eyes were on bloody Presti. But Theo's one of these guys. I think sometimes he needs a bit of a closer look because he is really, really impressive. Yeah,
like you said, he's a big guy. He's a lot bigger. You know, until you see him in person, I actually did get a chance to see him at a couple of shows. You don't realize he's a lot bigger than you think he is. Yeah, look at that. He looks
good. He looks really good. He's not small at all. He's not small. It's funny because some people say, oh, yeah, they all look great by themselves, but when you stand him next to other people, Theo is actually the opposite. He looks okay by himself, but when you put him next to other people, that's when you realize actually how big he is. Because sometimes you just think, oh, he's a shapely, symmetrical aesthetic guy, but he's bloody huge.
Yeah, that's interesting you say that because most guys do look so much better by themselves.
Yeah, that one there, that's the shot. Look at that. Yeah, that's top 10. That could be top 10. Sure. I'm telling you now. I think I'd love to see him against De La Rosa, Akeem, Foda, and Jewett.
Yeah, you know, there's only 14 guys because we had so many dropouts and people that couldn't get visas and other issues. So
sad, isn't it?
You know, there's only 4 guys who are not going to make top 10. But let's take.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Foda's the only guy we have not mentioned, and I'd be remiss to not. Mo Fuda.
He's a beast.
Photos on his Instagram.
Freaking beast. This guy's a beast.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah.
I think honestly, to me, I think he looks like a slightly smaller Hadi.
Yeah, you've said that before, and I definitely see the resemblance.
It's I tell you what, I bet when he's in Vegas, I bet people go up to him wanting photos saying, Hadi, can I have a picture, please? Because he is honestly got a very similar physique. But I tell you what, he's like I said, I was raving about this guy when he was amateur back in 2018 on that the first show I had on MD, and I said to him, "Wow, this guy's amazing." He took a few years to turn pro, but now he's turned pro, and he's really hit the ground running this year. I'm really happy for him actually.
He's like Hadi with a better structure, I'd say.
Yeah, he is.
Longer. Hadi's a little squatty. He's a shorter guy.
Yeah.
I don't know how tall Muhammad is. I'm guessing he's a couple inches taller than Hadi.
Yeah, he looks good, man. He's one of those guys that probably maybe a lot of people aren't even thinking about, but he could take out guys like De La Rosa and stuff and Akeem and guys like that. But I think he could take them out no problem.
Fair enough. All right. Well, we've been talking about open. Let's give some love to the 212 division. Let's start with.
I'm gonna get some hate for this one.
Well, yeah, that's the first question. Is Keon beat Clarita last year? I had Clarita winning just because I'm such a condition and muscle detail snob. I agree. Keon's shape is just spectacular.
Beautiful
physique. They call him the Flex Wheeler of the 212. And we'll go to his Instagram. He's definitely made some improvements in that muscle maturity because he is only 29 years old. He's still a young guy.
Bloody hell, I sometimes forget, don't you, how young these guys are. It's incredible, isn't it? Imagine having an Olympia title by the time you're 29.
Well, Lee Haney was like 24, so.
Yeah, he was retired with 8 at 31. I mean, I don't think that will ever be beaten. I think with today's standards, I don't think it's impossible for that to happen.
All right, so unleash on us, Tiger. Is he keeping his title?
No.
Okay.
No. In fact, all year I've been saying I think it's going to be a year of bodybuilders, so competitors reclaiming their titles. I said Hadi's going to get his title back. Missy's going to get a title back in fitness. Sean Carida's going to get his title back in the 212. And I think that's about it, really, actually, all the categories. But he looks fantastic. He is improved. Obviously, having an Olympia title, he's not going to take his foot off the brakes in the last year. He's going to be better. But I'm a Clarida fanboy. And the reason I'm a Clarida fanboy is because I think he's better. I think that Keon and I think Derek actually, the only difference they had between the other guy was they had a vacuum.
Wow.
And true. I know I'm going to get some shit for that because Keon has a beautiful shape. And I know that at the pre-judging, Clarida had a bit of distension in his stomach, but he fixed it for the finals. When I saw the posing routine, I was watching it in here. I was watching it with Lauren in here. And as I saw the finals, I said, yes, Clarida's got it back. He's got it. Because I did think it was a bit touch and go, at the pre-judging. But the judges still gave it to Keon. Congratulations to Keon, obviously. I mean, he's incredible. But for me, like when I've seen these guys in the flesh, and when I see in pictures and obviously high quality video, for me, my eye is just drawn to someone like Clarida. I think he's just slightly more impressive. I mean, he blows me away. So if Clarida nails it, and he's got no problems, because I messaged Clarida early in the year and I said, and he said, "Don't worry, I know what to do for next year now. I know what I need to do correct." And I'm guessing that was to do with the stomach. So I obviously, again, I see that being the top two. So I don't see anybody cracking that top two like the top four I've mentioned in the Open. So I would love to see him get it back because I think he's an absolute beast. But it's going to be like Hadi and Derek. I think in the Open, I think it's going to be a really close fought battle, and I think they're both going to look absolutely amazing.
Yeah, if it's a shape contest, then Keon wins. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, but the thing is, Clarida doesn't have a bad shape. I mean, I don't think he's got a bad shape.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, Keon's got slightly prettier shape, but he's not as conditioned. He's not as dense and as grainy and as just freaky. Yeah. So I don't know. It comes down to preference, Like I said, I was actually quite shocked he won last year when I was watching the live stream. I was like, wow, I didn't expect that. But congratulations to him. And but like I said, it's going to be another either way one with those two. But my money's on Clarida.
Yeah, Clarida is another guy that does not show a lot before the shows. He's one of those old school guys. So, but I never doubt that he's going to be in crazy condition. When was the last time? I can't remember ever seeing him off. Do you?
Ever? No, never. Never. Well, the pre-judging of last year's Olympia, he was a little bit bloated in the stomach. He couldn't really flex his abs. Maybe left the carbon up a little bit too late or whatever, trying to sort of come in crazy full. You know what happens with these guys? Sometimes they just mistime it, whatever, or they panic eat or something. Or
look at the face. Look at that face.
Yeah, he's honestly. I was saying this to Lauren yesterday. I said I think Clarida's like one of my all-time favorite bodybuilders. Certainly in the last decade, and that goes for the Open guys as well. I just think I remember I wrote an article in MD about him, and that's when I really went through his career. It's like, wow, this guy was a naysayer. Do you know what I mean? He proved all the naysayers wrong. All the ones that said you'll never turn pro, you'll never win a show, you'll never turn pro, you'll never win a pro show, you'll never win Olympia. And every single one of those steps, and as he climbed every single year, going from like not placing at the New York Pro to winning it, to doing the same at the Olympia, for going 16th place to 9th to 7th, to 3rd to 1st, 2nd, 1st, and everything. You can never count him out. So I don't see anyone cracking that top two.
Yeah, I think the top two is pretty locked up. So this is my pick for third place.
Yeah.
Gareth, because he was 4th last year. He got beat by Angel. This is, I'm not knocking this, but sometimes when there's so much vascularity, and that's a genetic thing. It's not like he trained to be vascular. It does sort of obscure the overall muscle separation. It's just veins on top of veins on top of veins. Here he is with Neil.
Yeah, but you can see the condition.
Yeah, the condition is unparalleled. You can see he's another guy. The condition is never, even at New York Pro, he was a little bit off his best condition, but it was still insane condition. That's why he got beat by Ola. Yeah,
I think 3rd is between him and Angel Calderon.
Yeah.
That's like I said. There's levels to this sport, and once you've been a top 4 guy and you've won more pro shows, and you've just I don't know of anyone that really jumps to mind that is actually good enough to crack that top 4 again in the Open as it is with these 212 guys.
I agree that the top 4. of course, anything can happen. But yeah, I mean, Angel's amazing. This is I don't know if this was a show because you never know because some of the shows he's done as an open.
Yeah.
And he wasn't 212. He was like over 220 at these shows. So
he was 8th in New York Pro in the Open.
Okay, yeah, there you go. Well, here's Olympia. He was definitely 212 for this Olympia.
Yeah.
This was 30 weeks ago, so this was last year's Olympia.
But hang on. Sorry, I interrupt. Sorry. Yeah. Do you remember what I said earlier in the year when he did the New York Pro? And I said to you, I said, look, this is just a trial run. I bet you money. Go back and watch the episodes. I bet you money that he still comes back to the Olympia as a 212.
Yeah, you said. And why would he? Because let's be realistic. In the Open Olympia, he's not top 10. He's just not. Structurally and everything. He's got plenty of size, but on his frame, it's packed too tightly to be top 10 at the Open Olympia.
He's as impressive as Clarida, actually, in terms of muscularity, conditioning, and all the, the things that have to be really worked for. Do you know what I mean? That real kind of heavy, dense, conditioned muscle. I mean, I've never seen Angel Calderon out of condition. I remember the year he got, was it 2019? I think he got 10th.
Yeah,
then he moved up. Then he was 7th. Then he was 4th. Then he was 2nd. And then he's dropped to, was it 3rd last?
Yeah, I remember when we saw him that year when he got 10th, we were both like, what?
Yeah. And Dave Henry not making top 10, and he looked fantastic. Remember that?
And there's right next to him is Ahmad Ashkanani, he hasn't really dropped out of top 5 either. He's been a consistent top 5 guy for a very long time. I
went to the 2016 Olympia, and he was 2nd to Flex Lewis.
Right.
Hang on a minute. Let's give Ahmed Ashkanani some freaking credit here. I mean, that is. I'm trying to think if there's ever. It's that's as impressive as Sean Ray's record. With his 13 Olympias from 1988 to 2001, never dropping out of the top 5. Here's a guy that's never been out of the top 5. Has he been out of the top 5 since 2016?
Nope. No, he never has.
Seriously, I'd love to. It's probably been like 2nd, 5th, 6th, 5th. He's always up there. I mean, he's just, this guy just keeps going and going. Fair dues. I mean, fair dues to the guy. He's bloody impressive, and he must be over 40 now.
Yeah, the only thing he needs to really worry about, that midsection needs to be sucked in at all times because when he works out, he's so short and thick. He's got a short torso. Anybody that's got a short torso, they have to be very conscious of the midsection because it can look very blown out and thick if you don't keep it sucked in. But yeah,
I remember bumping into him in the. I think this was at the Old Europe in 2017. It was one of the Olympias. I went into the bathroom. I was at I can't remember where I was, hotel or something, one of the hotels. And he was there, and he was just putting his top back on. And I remember just going, "Fuck, it was like this the amount of thickness." Yeah. And then it's funny because I went into the cubicle that Rami was coming out of, and I nearly died. I made the mistake of going into the bath stall, but after Rami had just taken a giant dump.
No, we all. So yeah, great.
That was my Middle Eastern experience.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's other great guys, but those are pretty much all I want to talk about for this.
Hang on, anyone? I'm trying to think of anyone in the top 12 that really.
I'll go to one guy because what's his name?
What about that Brazilian guy? The guy got 6th. He was 6th or 7th. He was really good. I mean, his condition was just insane.
Oh wait, is that one of the Fabricios or?
Yeah, I can't remember his name now, but I remember seeing him at the Olympia, and then he did better the year after the last year that I wasn't at. But I remember, even because he was an unknown when I saw him, I think in 22, and I was like, "Who the hell is this guy? He's going to do well." And I was hoping he'd do well. I think he ended up getting 6th or 7th.
Was it this guy?
No. He's good, man. He's good. In fact, he's finally started getting his conditioning right. So he could be a top 6 guy. Absolutely. Good pick, Ron.
Who was the other guy?
Luca. I can't remember. I can't remember now. He was 7th. I think he was 7th in 22. I think that's what I've got in my head.
See if anyone I'm sure the Brazilians are going to have our heads for that, but sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
I have to learn how to say sorry in Portuguese. It's one thing I don't know how to say. I do want to move on to Classic because we've got so many guys to go through.
60
Classic,
guys.
Classic. Oh, that's the Olympia Weekend.
60. Like it wasn't 22, and it was what, 59, 58?
Yeah. So let's go to that. Let's start with Bumstead. What the heck? He's a 5-time champ. I had this real belief for the last year that he was going to win number 6 this year and retire on stage.
Me too.
And a lot of people have said, "Ron, you're on crack. He's not retiring."
Yeah.
Why would he? He's 29 years old. Again, this is 29 years old with 5 classic physique Olympia titles. He's part owner in Raw Revive. He's part owner in Gymshark. This guy is killing it, C-Bum.
Ron, for me, he wasn't as good in 23 as he was in 22, because if he said he had that lat injury, 6 weeks out or something, and for me, his back shots weren't quite as good. They were still good enough to win. But I thought in 22, he absolutely, because I was there in the flesh, I saw it second row, he absolutely blew my socks off. But when I was watching the live stream in 23, he was 96% of what he was the year before. Still obviously good enough to win. So yeah, congratulations to number 6 to Chris. I mean, but personally, I'm gonna leave this to you. Then I'll tell you what I think.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see anybody taking him this year. I think Ramon's going to look much better. We'll get to Ramon, guys. Don't worry. But Ramon's going to look better than he did at the shows earlier this year. I don't think it's still going to be enough to overtake Chris. Wesley's going to look great. I don't think that's going to be enough to overtake Chris. Chris is the poster boy for the division. He's what they love.
Yeah.
He looks amazing. These shots aren't even doing him justice. I mean, I've seen some posing pictures that blew my mind.
Did you?
I got to try to find it. What do you do with them? You think
Are they old or new?
Oh no, they're not old. I mean, I love this guy's side chest. I think it's one of the best side chests in any division.
Yeah, you're nice. He's tall as well, isn't he? How tall is Bumstead?
He's that's been a matter of debate.
Okay. Oh God.
We're going to call it 6'1" because they were saying they were measuring him taller so he would get the extra few pounds. That was one conspiracy theory that was going around.
Oh God.
A couple of the other classes. That's a great shot. Look at that.
Yeah.
Just beautiful shape. He's got plenty of size. Let's call it 6'1". I think his weight cap is 242. So that's a big guy. That was a big guy in the 80s and even into the early 90s.
Well, they say that he's like a modern day Barry DeMay. Barry DeMay was 228 at the 1988 Olympia, which many people think the classic. They wanted to emulate that look again, but in classic, rather than like what the pros in the open. Barry DeMay in the 88 in the Open Pro, the 88 Olympia. They say that's the kind of physique they want to bring to classic, and I think Chris Bumstead really did a good job of that. So if he was like 6 foot and 228, now Bumstead could be 242 at like 6'1". That's not far off.
All right, let's go to Ramon. So Ramon did not look his best earlier this season, and we found out a couple things. He had been on vacation, and he only prepped 6 weeks for those shows. This is from the Olympia. 6-week prep. He looked pretty good. He got beat by Wesley.
Here we go.
Yeah, we're gonna. I said before we started that there's a three dinosaur emoji limit per post.
Yeah, I gotta say though, I love the fact these guys have such passionate fans. But my God, the Ramon fans are annoying.
100%.
They are so annoying, and I know I'm gonna get shit for that. And you know what? But then again, I'll counteract that with saying that. I think it's great that these guys bodybuilders have such great passionate fans. So I'll close it with that, because it's like I said, I know I joke and I tease the fans sometimes, but they do ask for it sometimes, because they are a little bit. I mean, sometimes they're a bit mean about some of the other competitors. I mean, I've seen some horrible stuff. Like there's a picture of Wesley and Ramon on Wesley's Instagram this morning. Was it yesterday? And like 90% of the comments are all in like Brazilian and Portuguese or whatever, and they're all kind of like the Dino gifs and emojis. And I'm thinking, I mean, Wesley must just like get so annoyed with that. I mean, he never responds, but it's like it must be like quite annoying, really. I don't know. I find it a little bit disrespectful at times, to Wesley. I think you should give respect to everyone. But for me, the top 3 is Bumstead, Ramon, and Wesley. I would love to see Wesley beat Ramon again. I don't know where that's going to happen, because I think Ramon is good, and I know he does 6-week prep. I just, do you know what? You should never say he only did. Why give a reason for your failure? I only did 6-week prep, and give credit to the guy that's won and say, right, okay, then I'll see you again at the Olympia. Wink. So because the thing is, if he doesn't then beat Wesley at this Olympia, it's going to look really bad for him. But I think realistically, it's going to be Bumstead first, Ramon second. And I honestly think that the Wesley, the way he's been looking, and the beautiful stripy delts he's got, I mean, it's like he's got the stripiest delts ever. I can't think of any more stripy delts than his. I think that's going to be the top 3. And to be honest, and then I think it's going to be like Brion. And I think we'll see some. I think Michael de Bull's looking really good as well. He's just coming off like 3. He's won Austria. He's won 2 pro shows recently. So I think the top 6 is going to be quite similar. But I tell you, do you know my dark horse is?
Mike Sommerfeld.
Yes. How do you know that? How do you know that?
And I want to, because I've been talking about him too. But I just want to give Wesley a little love here because, yeah, the muscle quality, because that's, we're both huge fans of that old school look with the separations and the striations, the detail, and Wesley has that. The only knock I have on him is I'd want to see more quad sweep and bigger quads.
They are bigger now.
He's a big guy. I mean, if Bumstead is the gold standard, and that's the type of physique that's winning for years and years, that's the same sort of category I'd put Wesley in. He's a tall guy. He's got great width, great overall shape. He doesn't have the roundness to the muscles that Bumstead has, but he definitely has that detail, and it's more of a classic look. This is like, I believe, if Arnold was around today and just in a better conditioned Arnold with a little more legs than he had, I think this would be. He even hits. There's Arnold loves this guy. Look at him. He's taking a Instagram live of him right there. He's coming.
Do you know what? I completely agree because I like seeing muscle separation. I think his back is incredible. I love the separation in his arms, his shoulders. I like the way he poses. I mean, he was in pretty good condition when we did that tour back in May, that 8-day UK tour. He looked fantastic, and he trained legs 3 times in that 7 days when we were doing it. Because on the final ones, I went over because I was doing some Instagram and stuff, some social media posts updating. I didn't train, and I walked over and I went, "Wesley, doing legs again?" He went, "I said, that's the 3rd time in a week," and he says, "Well, I've got to bring them up. I've got to improve them. People say I'm improving, I'll bring them up." Wow. So I think you're going to see all-time best Wesley there as well. But I just like to look at the quality. I just wish some of the Ramon fans would get off his ass and not stop being a bit so disrespectful, because I think they're getting a bit personal towards Wesley, and I think that's unfair. I think they should give credit where credit is due, because the thing is, they're going to look really bad then if Wesley now beats Ramon again, because it's and I just hope there's graciousness on both sides. But I think I wouldn't be shocked actually if it was Bumstead and Wesley, the last 2 guys standing. I would not be shocked at all.
No, not at all.
So you don't know. I mean, he's he won the Arnold Classic and the Arnold UK, and he's only going to have got better since then. So let's see what he brings. He's going to be in fantastic condition. He's brought the legs up, the hamstrings, the glutes, everything's coming up. So, but I think realistically, I mean, the thing is, he's in a good spot because he was 7th place last year. And then he went and beat guys like Brion and Urs and Ramon, who were 2nd, 3rd, and 5th and 6th in the Olympia or whatever. So it's going to be he's in a good spot. I think like 3rd for me is most likely. I don't think he can beat Chris this year, even though he said he wants to go and beat Chris. I think the real battle's going to be between him and Ramon, and also Mike Sommerfeld, because I think Mike Sommerfeld, because apparently I've heard a rumor that Urs is going crazy, saying that he's basically freaking out about Mike Sommerfeld. I don't know whether that's true, but it came from somebody else in Germany. Let's put it that way. Yeah. And he said he's freaking out because he doesn't want Mike Sommerfeld, who's also German, to beat him, because then it's kind of like really not. It's not just a question of him not winning the Olympia. He's being beat then by someone from his own. Because some of these guys, they set their own they set their own limits and standards and things they want to achieve, and I kind of get it, But Urs is fantastic. I don't like his new haircut.
Yeah.
I just looks ridiculous. I mean, but then again, each their own. It's these guys' hair doesn't matter. But yeah. So I think Sommerfeld's the real dark horse here, and I think Michael de Bull will be in the top 6 as well.
Yeah, I just want to linger on Urs a minute longer. So Urs has been 3rd here a couple times. He's a proven entity. We both love this. I love his personality. I love him as a person. I love his posing, his energy, his enthusiasm. He's happy. He's genuinely happy, and you see that joy on stage. It makes you feel good. Being the a-hole that I have to be and critique the physique, I just don't see him maintaining 3rd or moving up until these arms come up. And I'm a guy that never was able to build great arms, so I feel for him. Because look at those legs. My God, phenomenal legs.
Brion should have beaten him back at the Arnold. I had Brion ahead of him, and I'm not a massive Brion fan. I don't like Brion's legs. I think they look weird to me, but he looked fantastic. Brion looked fantastic at the Arnold Classic. In fact, at like each 44, 45, I wasn't expecting him to come back and looking better than ever. I was really happy for him actually, because I didn't expect it. I thought he would. I thought he was kind of on the slide, and then he kind of. I think maybe he brought the best ever package he'd ever brought at the Arnold Classics. So, I mean, Brion, there's a guy. Realistically, is he going to drop out of the top 6? Who knows?
No,
because if there's 6 guys, and you got Wesley from 7th to 3rd or whatever, someone's going to get knocked out of the top 6. So could it be Urs? Could it be Brion? Could it be De Bull? So someone's going to have to get pushed aside.
It could happen, but if you want to look at a track record, so since the very first Classic Physique Olympia in 2016, where he was 4th, he has never been lower than 4th place at the Olympia ever.
Yeah, good point.
So like Curry's been a consistent guy, and we sort of a lot of people write him off.
Yeah, people say Curry won't be top 10. It's like, well, hang on a minute. He's not been outside the top 4 for since 2019,
Right. Well, Ramon took a 2-month vacation from the gym.
I don't care with all this. Don't give me these stupid excuses, guys. Oh, you're on a holiday. I need a 6-week prep. Wow.
What if his cat was sick? You would sympathize then.
Yeah, his cat was sick. Oh, sorry. No, you're kind of giving the reason for his failure.
Mike says we're skipping the remaining last week, guys. No, I don't want to do that.
Oh, my God. Real those names. The thing is, there's some fantastic. Do you know what? There's guys. I mean, I was there at 22 when they had like 59. And there was guys that were in the shape of their life that were on stage for maybe 3 minutes. Actual posing, literally probably in total, you're talking maybe 3-4 minutes. It's just incredible. I don't know how they fix this issue, because it's Classic is a victim of its own success.
Yeah, 60 guys, and I'll say this: the 3rd call-out guys are still going to look phenomenal. Exactly.
There's guys that didn't even qualify that are incredible. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I saw that Richard Nagy win Richard Nagy, N-A-G-Y. He won the Hungary show that Lauren did the live stream at back in April. And to be honest, when you see him by himself, you just think, my God, this guy looks perfect. I mean, is he going to be top 10? Probably not.
Right.
But he was amazing. I mean, literally, I was watching him at the close on the stage. I was like, wow, this guy looks amazing. What's he done? And then he'll go to the Olympia and he'll probably just blend in with all the other amazing 50, 60 guys.
I want to go to De Bull because another guy people forget about, and he got beat up earlier in the year, and we were worried about him. But what show when did that happen? Do you remember what time?
That was the UK, wasn't it? The UK show. There was Classic and Bikini, and then the 4 security. Was it 4 or 5 security guys jumped in backstage?
Yeah, but that was his face. I think he was concerned, but he's fine. This is a guy that's been 5th place at the Olympia. Has he been top 5 a couple times?
He was 6th.
It's a beautiful shape. There he is.
6th last year. 6th
last year. But
he beat Wesley last year's Olympia.
Okay, but I believe he's been 5th place before.
Has he?
I think so. Regardless.
Okay.
I can't remember. If he's not a first call-out guy, he's definitely probably the best guy in the second call-out.
Oh yeah. And the thing is, like you said, his condition is, when these guys, that they're probably not going to slip out of the top 10, because unless he did something drastic with his conditioning. The thing is, he's just done 2 shows and showed up in incredible condition. And I've been watching all his updates, so he's going to be he's not going to miss it. He's not going to miss. He's too experienced. When someone can routinely, like Clarida, routinely shows up in condition, he's one of the guys you can kind of rely on, that is going to be.
That's 5 days out.
Wow. Incredible. It's incredible. Separation, the detail, the conditioning. I mean, I've spoke to him a few times actually on the phone about, the levels and things the lengths he has to go to get in that condition. And I tell you what, those last few weeks, he is dying on his feet, literally dying on his feet. He said sometimes you'll go to bed and you just can't get out of bed all day unless it's have to do cardio, go training. He said sometimes he's so exhausted in the last few weeks. That's what you need to do to get that kind of condition. It's very impressive.
Look at that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, you and I have such a deep appreciation for that extra level of condition that you don't see. All right, let's get to Sommerfeld. So Mike the Badass. It'd be funny if there were 2 guys from Brazil that were fighting for the title, and the Brazilians, they had to pick their favorite. They would go out of their minds. But we're talking about Germans now. We're going Mike. So Mike the Badass, Mike Sommerfeld. This was this last year? Yeah.
22.
Whatever it was. He had a call out there with Ramon and Chris, as you could see.
Yeah.
He's better than this now. Look at how young he looks there.
I remember when he turned pro in 2018. Him and Wesley in the London show.
Yeah. So he's still a guy, still making improvements, still young. This was it was 79 weeks ago, so this is a couple years ago. I think this is when he got his. Is that when he got his pro card?
Yeah, I saw him. He was at the Unpro walking around. I was chatting to him.
Okay, so
I like Mike. I've interviewed him. I've got a feeling he's going to be the one that might be, moving ahead of guys like or Michael or whatever like that. I think got a feeling he's going to do really well. And I think he's still working with Neil, is he?
Yeah,
they are still working with Neil Hill as well. Neil won't let him miss. You know that now. You know that, and he's been in condition for long enough now. I think he's going to be absolutely bang on. So I just, he's really. So I've heard that is a little bit concerned about Mike beating him.
Well, I could see that. Like, who's the best German bodybuilder?
Could be wrong. I mean, maybe it was bullshit what I was told, but that's what I was told by somebody from Germany.
This is very impressive. I know that's a gym tank top pump shot, but still, that shape, that's classic right there. And that is
I wonder how the hell he makes classic, because he's freaking huge.
You know what? That reminds me of Lee Haney right there, that shape.
Yeah. The wide what's his name? Oh, the guy who's tore his tricep.
Flex Lewis?
No, back in he was top 6 in Olympia back in 2002. The black guy. What's his name now? I saw him. Somebody's talking about him the other day. The guy with the crazy look like a Ronnie type shape. You know, he was 6th in the 2002 Olympia. What was his name? Remember he tore his tricep and then he went to some coma or something.
It'll come to me like in an hour, as it usually.
He's like the Akeem, like a new version of him. It's my brain's gone completely dead. I do apologize.
It'll come back to us. I want to mention Logan, because Logan's been, I think he was 6th place one year. So Logan's been working with Patrick, I think. Is Patrick his coach?
Oh, cool.
I believe so. If I'm wrong, please accept my apology. But Logan's got a home gym too. Just need a little bit more size. I think he's been slowly, very gradually adding size. Great overall shape, beautiful physique. Wish him the best. Anyone else in classic we're neglecting here? I'm sure with 60 guys, I'm sure we are. So the thing about, there's probably somebody who's going to place 15th that has legions of fans and people think he could be the winner. And, it's a subjective sport, and classic means different things to different people.
True.
So some people,
and do you know what? I wouldn't want to be an Olympia judge. The whole idea of judging brings me out in a cold sweat, to be honest.
I would never want to be an Olympia judge.
I mean, imagine the conferring you'll listen to on the judging table, and listening to the kind of stress from the judges who are like Steve Weinberger say, look, okay, who you got? I don't fucking know. They all look great. Breon 3rd. I wouldn't be. It's not inconceivable. Unlikely, but not inconceivable.
Mike Oleg got hurt long ago. We're talking about Oleg
Krivy. Yeah, he tore his legs.
Yeah, so he's been out.
He's just started walking again. Actually, he's just started walking again.
Not a condition contest. Keon wins again.
Shut up! Come on. The guys who can't get condition always say that.
And Mike says, "Bro, not even close. Keon needs time. Now send him to Kuwait shape. I'm not sure who he has winning. Keon is young, fresh blood. No one taking his title. Till he moves to open. I don't know if he ever will move to open, but maybe.
He hasn't even hit 212 limit yet. What are you talking about? He was 199 last year.
Yeah, I mean, someone said, is he going to have trouble making the weight? I'm like, he's not going to have trouble making the weight for a very long time.
He might be like 204, 205 this year, maybe. I don't know. Maybe he's. The thing is, even if he's 7 pounds, he's still going to be way under the limit and not have problems. So he's not going to have to worry about going flat or losing muscle. So he's in a really good spot, actually. So we can come in comfortably, not worry about making weight. Like Clarida. Clarida's like, what, 185, 190? 185 maybe, maximum? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am, 12. This is live. I don't know. It should hit. There should be some sort of indication on YouTube. This is live. Wesley Bum Ramon. Okay, fair.
Yeah, top 3.
It's annoying to see Wesley post crap like he could ever beat Ramon. I mean,
guys, he did it in March.
If you're competing in the Mr. Olympia, Classic Physique Olympia, you have to believe you can win. If you can't, if in your heart of hearts you're like, I'll never win, then you shouldn't be there. You have to have that belief. That's what drives these guys to get out of bed every day and do the cardio at 5 a.m. and eat 3 ounces of chicken breast, and
Ron, I said to Wesley back in was maybe March or April or something, and I said I think after, because I thought Bumstead was going to retire this year as well. I said I think after Bumstead retires, I think you could be the next in line. And he says no. He said I'll stop you there, Giles. He said I'm telling you. He says I'm going after Bumstead, beating Bumstead this year. See, that's the kind of mentality you have to have when you're in that kind of, especially if you've just gone and beaten second, third, and fourth, or whatever, fifth, sixth, or whatever from the Olympia. Then you're literally, technically, that kind of puts you in the number 2 spot, regardless of whether Ramon had a 6-week bloody prep and holiday or whatever. I just stop all that bullshit. It's annoying. So just realize that actually you got to give respect to Wesley and put some respect on his name. That he's beaten those guys, and he beat Urs twice, he beat Brion twice. So you need to kind of give the guy a bit of respect, because he didn't just beat Ramon off a 6-week prep, but he beat the number 3 and he beat the number 5 twice. Well, Brion and Urs, he beat them twice, and that's number 3. There's very little between third and second guys. So
Goku, this was the first 20 minutes of the live broadcast. We talked about Nick Walker.
Yeah, go back and watch it.
Beirut is not in the Olympia. He couldn't get his visa for the 3rd year in a row. Do I still think he's better than Rafael Brandao? I would still have I'd still have Beirut beating Rafael.
I would, and I've seen Beirut in the flesh many times in Romania and Spain. I've seen him compete many times. So yeah, I do think he's better than Brandao at this point.
This is in reference to Urs. The haircut is awful. Urs is It's a lot of hair. It's just too much hair.
I don't care about this. I don't. This is it. They keep saying this. What you're doing is you're actually reminding us why he failed. Why are you reminding us of why your favorite guy just failed? Because he did a 6-week prep. Cover that up. You shouldn't be mentioning it. You should have said, "Oh, he brought his best, but let's just see what happens at Olympia." Come on, that is smart, guys. Come on. Let's get some perspective here.
Yeah, you guys skipping the remainder 55. Yes, we are, Mike. Now let's do a whole 5-hour show talking about every classic guy that qualified. Jesus. I just want to show the list real quick. It is ridiculous.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Qualified. Yeah. This is I believe Dan Solomon said there's 350 people competing or something like that.
Wow. Did you see the venue as well with that big globe thing and everything? Looks amazing, doesn't it?
I did have some FOMO when I saw that. Yes. Once I saw that. So qualified. So this is the list. Mr. Olympia is not. Come on, see. Mr. Olympia is not that big. What's this? Oh, that's the schedule.
Ron, can I just run to the toilet quickly?
Yeah, go for it. I'm going to just show the
guys. To the little Tigers room.
Yeah. So we're looking, guys. This is the Mr. Olympia. These are all the guys that qualified, and we know everyone didn't make it. We had Nick drop out. Tonio withdrew as well. Beirut didn't get a visa. Nathan Asha can't seem to get a visa. Everyone else is in the show. So that is the Mr. Olympia qualified. Not that big. Classic physique. Look at this, guys. Oof. I don't even recognize half of these names. This is everybody that won a classic physique show this year somewhere around the world. And we had one almost every weekend. Some weekends there were 2, even 3 pro shows that had classic divisions. It's a lot of guys. Look at that. That is insane. Ms. Olympia. Small lineup compared to the other ones, and I think they're all going to be there. Let's go to the next division. Figure. This is qualified. It's big. It's not that ridiculous. Women's Physique Olympia. This is on MrOlympia.com, guys, which also has links. Get the pay-per-view. The pay-per-view is at Olympia Productions, OlympiaProductions.com. So we're going through all the divisions here, showing you their women's physique, wheelchair, very small lineup. What's that? 10 guys, something like that. Wheelchair, 212. Come on, Ron, you can do this. 212. Here's the lineup for all the qualified. Again, guys, MrOlympia.com. All the info on the show, including links to the pay-per-view up there. I'm going through divisions. Yeah, I'm just going through divisions, showing how many people are qualified in each. Men's physique is always a big. Look at that. That's oof. It's a lot of guys. That looks like about 60 guys as well.
Wow.
Who just dropped out? Brandon Hendrickson?
Well, apparently he was out ages ago. It was just they recycled the news, I think.
Oh, okay. Fitness is always a small, and we know Ariel is out with a neck injury.
Oh, that must be gutting for her. And do you know what? I'm really rooting for Missy to get a title back, because after what happened last year, snapping her Achilles and not Achilles, the AC or whatever in her knee. I mean, that looked like it took months and months to recover from. So yeah, really, you can't not root for her.
Yeah, it's one thing for a bodybuilder to have a knee injury. That obviously sucks. But these women in fitness, they're literally doing like backflips and high jumps and things like that. Bikini is a huge, huge lineup right there. You guys
bikini, we're doing a tour with Ashley as well.
Yeah, that's right.
I think Lauren, the bikini expert, thinks the Olympia is going to be between Laura Lee and Ashley. Because Jennifer Dory's out now. Jennifer Dory's out, so she thinks it's going to be between Laura Lee and Ashley. Because Ashley's like got 49 pro wins now. Imagine if she won the 50th pro win, which beats Dexter's record by 20 wins, 29. Imagine if she won a 50th pro show by winning the 60th Olympia. How cool would that be? And then she comes on tour with Lauren and me.
Mike, I don't know who the classic guy who won Tampa was. I'm sure he's very good. But I want to wrap this up soon because I have to urinate and I have to eat. So.
Two very vital things.
Once you've had kids, and my kids are old, they're 25 and 30 years old. I still say pee-pee and poop instead, for the bodily functions. Check the guy. Looks like C-Bum Butterino. He's talking about Justin Butterino. Okay. All right. This will be the last guy I go to because I gotta go. Yeah, that's fair. If people are giving him that much credit, he must be pretty good.
Oh, Butterino.
Yeah, that's his name. Justin LR. What's his name? If I can't find his Instagram, we're shit out of luck. Justin Body, but no. Yeah, this is why you should just have your name as your Instagram, guys. Because I know I've seen his Instagram before. I've chatted with him briefly a couple of times, but I can't find him.
Do you know what? There's some really good guys in class.
There's a lot of great guys.
Really good.
Osama is great. Absolutely.
Oh, Osama, yeah, beast. Yeah, he's good. Very good. A lot of hype around him.
But again, that could be a second call-out guy. I mean,
no shame in that.
And that's what I'm saying. The second call-out in Classic is going to be better than the first call-out was a couple of years ago.
Well, it could be the next generation. It could be the next generation of top 4, top 5 guys like we've got now.
Yeah. I mean, this guy.
Can you imagine the pressure on those like top 4, like Urs, Wesley, Chris and Ramon? Can you imagine the pressure on them now? I can't imagine what it's like actually being in a class as competitive as Classic. Every single week, seeing all these Classic pro shows on the feeds, and you're seeing all these new guys coming through, all this new talent, all these amazing guys looking amazing under amazing lighting and looking great on stage and winning shows straight first. I bet it's an absolute minefield, actually, being a top Classic competitor, to try and not distract yourself from what's going on all around the world, because it's a more attainable look. It's not like, you're going to get someone who's going to pop up who's like a Rami or a Hadi or just absolutely like 300 pounds shredded. It doesn't. People like those don't just pop up. But in Classic, because it's slightly more of an attainable style of physique, there's more chance of those guys just coming out of nowhere.
Totally. There's so many comments. There's too many to get to, but I guess we'll end this with, we'll give our definitive top 5. Let's put it that way. I'm going to put it as a banner. So
okay, I'm
going to make this so it's here in writing. Giles, give me in order your top 5.
Oh shit. Okay.
We're just doing Mr. Olympia, guys. This is how I want to end it.
First, Derek.
Derek, yeah.
Second, Hadi.
Okay.
Third, Andrew.
Yeah.
Fourth, Samson.
Okay. And fifth. This is where it's
Martin. I'm going to go Martin. I think he's. Like I said, I've got 4 or 5 guys who could be taking that 5th spot, but I think that's fair. I think there's a lot of hype around him, and I think he's made enough improvements this year. He's the most improved, I think, this year in the Open.
I don't know if I want to. I think that's my top 5.
Come on, Ron. Come on. Be deliberately contrary.
I think the only thing I would change is if Curry shows up looking great, I see him in 5th place.
Yeah.
I don't see him out of the top 5. If he's not, I think Martin's got him, or Raphael. If Raphael is trying,
I to be honest, if Raphael looks, if what we're seeing in those updates is real and he's as good from the back, which, like I said, I'm suspicious because he's not shown any back stuff.
Yeah.
And the fact that he was behind on his prep, I think Martin's not going to be behind on his prep. So I think there's maybe slightly more. It's easier to bet on someone that is going to be absolutely, is probably going to be absolutely bang on. Whereas Raphael, there's a bit of a question mark there. But if Raphael's bang on, then he could take that 5th place absolutely.
So I can't have the same exact top 5 as you, or else
I know what you're going to do. Actually, I think I know what you're going to do.
No, I just said what I was going to do. So Andrew, Samson's going to be pissed that we have Andrew ahead of him. Oh, well,
He could win it though. Yeah, but the thing is, he could still win it. I'm not saying I'm not going to be like, oh my God, I'm so shocked that Samson Dauda won the Olympia. He could win it. It's like any of those 4 guys can win it. So I'm not going to be shocked if that top 4 is in any order.
Right. Well, if Brandon wins his title back, then I'm going to be shocked.
Yeah, that's yeah. I mean, I don't think he's going to be top 3. He's not going to be top 3, unless I mean, the thing is, I've seen people like really, really kind of knowledgeable, kind of reputable people put in like Derek as low as like 4th, and I'm thinking, I just don't see that happening. I don't see it happening. I think he's going to be 1st or 2nd. I mean, I think it's between him and Hadi. But then, like I said, for some reason, I was driving back onto the drive to there, and it flashed into my head this image of Andrew and Derek being the last 2 standing. So, I mean, like I said, no one would be happier if he makes top 3 or he gets 1st or 2nd order. I'm going to be so happy for Andrew for obvious reasons.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we know these guys. We know how hard they work. We're fans of the sport. We don't hate anybody, and we're not cheerleaders for anybody. There's people you might have closer relationships with, so you might root for them a little more so, but I would be delighted for Derek, for Hadi, for Andrew, for Samson. If Brandon gets his title back, I'll be the first one to jump up out of my chair.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the thing is though, Ron, I'm hoping that I'm completely wrong on all of it because I like surprises. Do you know what? I was looking at some of the old Olympias that Chris Cormier's been posting, and I remember there was a few years where some of the Olympias were, even though like you had Ronnie and Dorian, all those guys, the winners, they were absolutely iconic and incredible, and each year they brought something a little bit different, and the top 2 was amazing. But there was a few years where it was just the same guys over and over again, and they'd slightly shuffle around. One would be 4th one year, the next time be 5th, and then NASA would beat Sean, and to be honest, and Kevin DeVrone was always going to be 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or 5th. It was like it got a bit boring. I like to see a changing of the guard. I want to see Martin Fitzwater, who's never done Olympia. I want to see him in the top 5. I want to see Raphael go from 10th to 4th. That's not inconceivable. I want to see Andrew and Samson maybe just called out together. Do you know what I mean? And when people thinking, shit, is this 1 and 2? Is this 1 and 2? Or, I want to see real shocks. And I don't want to see anyone really drop. But for that to happen, someone has to go up and somebody has to come down. So, and it is at the end of the day, you are ranked by wherever you are really placed at the Olympia. So if you say you're top 7 in the Olympia, if you're top 7, say you're top 7 in the world, that means you at the last Olympia was 7th. This is why I kind of disagree with Nick saying he's the 3rd best in the world, because he didn't do the Olympia last year.
Right.
So he was in 2022, he was the 3rd best in the world, but now he's not. He's kind of like a non-entity now until he proves himself again. And that's why you've got to give respect to the guys that aren't there proving themselves. Yeah.
So guys, if we didn't get to every division, like the Ms. Olympia, that's obviously going to be a big battle between Angela Yo and Andrea Shaw, who's the reigning 4-time champ. What do you got to say about that?
Horrifying. I got Andrea Shaw winning that. I don't think that. I think forget about the Rising Phoenix. I think Andrea Shaw's got that on lock. That was just a kind of warm-up show for her. I mean, I think it makes it exciting because Angela Yo beat her at the qualifier, and her condition was better. But I think no one's beaten Andrea Shaw. No one's beaten Sydney Gillen, which I think is actually a little bit boring now for me. If I'm perfectly honest, I think that it's probably not going to change. Missy, I've got for the fitness. Laura Lee or Ashley for the bikini. And we've done all the rest.
Yeah.
Wellness, it'll be Francielle again, probably. Or Issa Perez.
If I'm a gambling man, the only person I see definitely winning their division is Sydney. Sydney will be 7-time champ or 8.
Yeah, I think it's 7 or 8, something like that. I've lost count. I mean, I'm a bit bored now. Actually, when you see, because it's funny. The really weird, ironic thing is all the other girls are chasing her by coming in bigger and harder, like almost as big as bodybuilders in some ways, and certainly bigger than some of the women's physique. And yet, Sydney's probably coming in smaller and softer every single year, and she's still beating them. So really, for me, that makes it kind of boring. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I've said one reason I actually secretly hope Hadi Choopan wins is simply because we've never seen the title go back and forth between 2 guys over and over again, ever.
Yeah.
And it's, we've had Hadi beat Derek beat Hadi. If Hadi beats Derek this year, then that sets this rivalry up. Because, the greatest years for the Mr. Olympia in our recent times were the Jay and Ronnie years.
Yeah.
Those were insanely fun and competitive. And every year it was like, it was the Jay and Ronnie show. There were plenty of other great guys, but
Yeah, Phil and Kai, for those 2012 to 2014. Like, I'd love to see. I mean, who wouldn't love to see Andrew and Samson, the last two?
Oh, I'm 100%.
Two tall guys with, tall guys but aesthetic guys, with tiny little waists, and I can easily visualize that, and I could easily see Samson, Hadi and Derek in third and fourth. But like I said, there's no real like 98, 99, 2000 Ronnie coming in, dominating everyone, and it's like, oh god, here we go, it's a battle for second. Like when Ronnie came in 2003, oh shit, who's going to get second? So I think it's interesting. There's four guys, but like I said, I still will say that I don't think anyone's cracking that top four.
Yeah.
Outside those four guys, I don't think I'd be unbelievably shocked if somebody stepped over those four guys. I just don't see it. Raphael, Martin, not Brandon. I don't see anybody beating that top four.
The biggest, if Andrew and Samson were the top two, that would just turn the Olympia on its head. Yeah. It would be entirely new. It would be a new era. Everyone would be talking about now. It's the tall, pretty guys, the Nigerians. They're both Nigerian, but it would be just such a massive shift from what we've been seeing for a very long time. So, I'm not going to be upset at anything that happens, because it's going to be something. Whatever happens is going to be exciting.
Exactly. I can't wait. I'm going to be watching it in the studio here. I'm going to have it on the. Like I did back in last year in the in 21 and 20. I remember watching it during COVID and everything. But 22, I was there with you. Next year we'll be there as well, mate. Don't worry about
that. Yeah. We have things to talk about in the future, guys. But this has been wink, wink. This has been the longest power hour we have ever done. We're almost at the 2-hour mark.
Do I get a week off?
Yeah. I got a full bladder. But appreciate you guys all sticking with us and being in the chat and the comments. If you're not watching it live, give us a comment. I will be doing coverage Friday and Saturday all day and night for that. I'm leaving you out of it. It's too damn late for you, dude. It is ridiculously late. It's late for me because it's Pacific time in the US.
Oh, whoa. I'll be up. Don't worry.
Dude, because look at this.
2020, I think when Lauren moved in, was it 2020?
Yeah.
I think we stayed up till about 4:30 both nights, 4:35 a.m. both nights, and we were glued. We were literally glued. We were just getting sleep. Because in the morning I want to go to the gym, because it doesn't actually. If the show starts at 9 a.m., not all the pre-judging, all everything else.
Yeah. That's
like 2 p.m. for me. So that means I can get to the gym for 12, train, come home, eat, and then just literally sit in this studio and just watch the whole thing on
I'm
the
just
live
looking at Friday and Saturday nights. Friday night starts for me at 9 p.m. So for you, that's 2 a.m.
Oh, yeah, because Vegas. Oh, yeah. So 7
so it's Friday night is finals for 212, fitness, figure, wellness. Then the judging for the Mr. Olympia, which will be God knows how late that's going to start. Saturday night, they start at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. my time, 3 a.m. your time. It starts.
Hey, Ron, sorry to interrupt. Did you see what Jay Cutler said on his Cutlercast?
He's not going to watch the judging because he's upset that the guys have to wait so long to go on. Which
he said, I think it's disrespectful to the open guys, leaving them till last. I mean, I thought they might have addressed that, but
what are you going to do?
The thing is, if those are the last guys on, and that's the big one, and that's what they want, they leave to the end because they want people to stay. And what? Then I think that what choice have they got? It's a victim. Like I said, it's a victim of having so many divisions. Unfortunately, it's the unfortunate sacrifice that they have to sort of fall to. Really.
So, guys, please. If you're not already subscribe, like the videos if you like this, share it on your platforms. If you ring that notification bell, you'll know, because everything I'm going to be doing this weekend is going to be live. So you'll get a notification on your phone right away. Yeah, it's got to be live. Nice. And I'm very much looking forward to it. Giles, I'll be in touch with you. And if you're awake and watching and can join in, of course I want you in on this. Same to you, Mike.
I'm sure I've pissed off a lot of people with my comments about Nick Walker, Ramon, and all these other things. But again, I've got no skin in the game. I kind of say what I think. At the end of the day. So, I mean, I got some shit for something else saying on Instagram this morning. In fact, I'm going to turn my phone on again now. I'm probably going to just see the barrage of abuse for. Because honestly, I think the contracts now are meaningless from what I've been seeing happening with people dropping out. 100%. I think that it's a genuine. I'm not trying to be facetious. It's a genuine question. It's like, what is the point of the contract if people can now drop out? I'm assuming that they must have updated the contract since the days of like 20, 25 years ago, because you only used to be able, if you signed a contract you were you're not legally, but you're going to get fined if you didn't, unless you had a medical exemption. So I'm seeing people dropping out now. So I think I need to question the validity of the contract. If it's just a thing for like, cool Instagram video of you signing the contract and stuff like that, then fair enough. That's fast. If they're honest enough to say that, then fair enough. But don't have a contract that really doesn't hold any water.
100%. All right, so that's going to wrap it up, guys. We are 20 seconds away from hitting the 2-hour mark with this. Wow. So thank you, Giles, for hanging in this whole time. And yeah, we could have done this if we talked about every competitor. We'd be here until Friday, basically, with no sleep and no food or anything. So that's it, guys. Please join me all weekend. Put your notifications on. We'll be doing coverage. This has been another episode of Tiger Hour with myself and the amazing Tigerific Giles Tiger Thomas from all the way across the pond in England. I'm here in New England, and we appreciate you guys. See you next time. Peace out.